Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Winning the lottery changed our lives for the worst.
You thought we won the lottery, and you're saying he saw it as he won the lottery.
I think that's why she's with me. She has money signs in her eyes.
You make me sound like this evil person that's like, give me your money. Are you kidding me?
I have such hate for him. I do not like her treated like you treat her.
I'm married to Jody, not to you.
They say money can't buy happiness.
Do you think this marriage is over?
You won't believe
You violated her makeup and lip gloss.
how nasty this gets.
I went to put it on, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
How are you? Wow, it is a dream that everybody talks about, winning the lottery, right? You've all thought about this. Well, statistics show you actually have a better chance of getting struck by lightning, being crushed by a vending machine, or hitting a hole-in-one on 2 consecutive par 3 holes. Why? Because the chances of anyone actually winning a jackpot in a lottery like the Powerball are 1 in 177,223,510. Now, these slim odds haven't stopped people from taking their chances. Did you know that over $65 billion are spent on the lottery in America yearly? This surpasses the national debt in countries like Ecuador, with a national debt of $19.9 billion, and Lithuania, which has a national debt of $29.55 billion. And it surpasses the amount of money used for cancer research every year. Think about that for a minute. Basically, the lottery is government-sanctioned gambling because it generates billions in tax dollars from people, mostly, that can ill afford to be spending the money, hoping they can win big. Now, to many, striking gold will only remain a dream. But for my next guest, Edwin, it became a dream come true. Edwin just started a new job when he and 14 co-workers each put $50 into the lotto ticket pot, and they hit a $25 million jackpot. And after dividing the winnings, Edwin walked away with $1.66 million after taxes. Now, here he is, right here. With his co-workers. But his wife, Jody, says ever since Edwin won the lottery, he's acted like it was his win and his money. And he even made a concerted effort to hide some of his winnings from her. She says their marriage has gone downhill fast and divorce has been threatened numerous times. Take a look.
Winning the lottery changed our lives for the worst. Things just started showing up. A hauling trailer, the quad, snowmobile, a sand rail, holiday trailer. This was purchased at the same time the holiday trailer was. I think he paid about $68,000. He thought it was his money and no one was gonna tell him what to do with it. I just wanted to be part of the decisions that he was making. The only thing that I really requested is that we purchase a home. He transferred $500,000 into my account. From that point on, he stopped paying for anything. All bills became my responsibility. When we went to the bank, out of the $500,000, there was around $80,000 spent. He got really upset and livid at that point, and he said, "Where did all the money go?" He was so furious. He became so paranoid. He would say, you're not entitled to anything. Like, it was my money, my win. Edwin's made tons of threats to divorce. During one fight, he said, "What do you think you're worth?" I thought it was 50-50, and he laughed, and he said, "Well, there's only 15,000 left. There should have been 700,000 left in the account," and he said he just gave it away. He was tired of having it. I found out he paid for his brother's house. I couldn't believe he would just hand over $500,000 and put it under somebody else's name. I absolutely think he got rid of the money so I wouldn't have any access to it.
Okay, now, first off, winning the lottery, this was something you were excited about, right?
Oh, completely excited, of course. Yes.
Because this was like $1.666 million is a lot of money to y'all.
Oh, it was huge, yeah.
Because you guys are a working family, and so having that much money together at one time, game changer.
Oh, it was mind-blowing.
And how did you find out about it?
Edwin and his crew, they had found out early in the morning, and Edwin, he was working out of town at the time.
New job.
He'd switched positions. He was working out on the rigs now instead of just at home. So he was supposed to call me in the morning, and he didn't call, and I kept trying to get a hold of him.
That's unusual, right?
Right. He finally picked up his phone when I phoned, and I'm like, what is going on?
You're frustrated. You're chewing him out. You're
right.
Why didn't you call me?
Right. And
You're worried.
Because at this time, I didn't know anything. And then, you know, I was like, why didn't you call me? What happened? And we probably argued for about 10, 15 minutes.
And you still hadn't said anything?
No, I had no idea. And then finally, he just came out and said, well, would it make you feel any better if I told you I won the lottery? And I'm like, what? Are you insane? What are you talking about? Because I thought he was trying to make a joke of my anger. Then he said, absolutely, we won. And I'm, how much? He said it works out to be about a little over $1.6 million a piece. They're calling in a new crew, and we're coming home.
He tells you he's won this $1.66 million. You find out later that he had known this actually for how long?
He found out, I believe it was like really early in the morning, probably 6.
Did it go through your mind, why didn't he call you right away?
Well, it did, because it blew my mind immediately, and I couldn't figure out, and he didn't sound excited. He's like, well, yeah, I won the lottery. Like, you know, is that going to make you happy now? And I'm, why aren't you screaming up and down? And I started shaking immediately, and I'm like, this is, what do you have to say about this? Like, why aren't you excited? And he was just, yeah, no big deal. I'm just coming home now. And then when we went to go claim the prize, we all met at his boss's house, and all the wives are sitting around, and oh my God, my husband called me at 5 o'clock in the morning, woke me up, and I'm sitting there like, mine didn't even call me. I had to try to track him down to even know what had happened.
From the beginning, was this a we won the lottery, or was this a he won the lottery?
It was definitely a he won the lottery.
Why was it he won the lottery instead of we won the lottery?
I mean, I wish you could answer that for me. I don't know. It was just he had won it, and it was his money, and
well, Edwin says he and Jody had marriage problems long before he won the lottery. He says their biggest issue now is his wife has dollar signs dancing in her head.
Wow.
That's the deal. Let's hear his point of view.
When I won the lottery, she was more excited than me. I think that's why she's with me. She has money signs in her eyes.
The only money that I have right now is locked up in investments. Are you upset about that?
She has no concept for the value of a dollar. She is obsessed with money. I gave her $500,000 to buy the house. There's so much money gone. She couldn't, until this day, explain it to me where it went. I can pinpoint where my lottery winnings went. When I won the lottery, I thought it belonged all to me. I thought I could spend it how I want without asking for permission. Jody and I had issues before I won the lottery. When we first started dating, I did get in trouble with drinking and driving. I had no freedom. Jody had control over me. I felt like I was under house arrest.
When I try to talk to you, just sit there like that. You don't say anything.
She always put me on the spot and make me feel like I do everything wrong. We fight about 3-4 times a week. I want to get help to make us better, but I think we've just been down the rocky road. I feel there's no hope.
Do you think this marriage is over?
There's some hope for us, but I don't think we can carry on anymore of how we've been carrying on.
Were you on the brink of divorce before you won the lottery?
Yeah, I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. Were you aware that he was that unhappy before?
No, I mean, I know we had our problems, but were we on the brink of divorce when you won? Yeah. No, I didn't. I don't agree with that.
Then we won the lottery, and you're saying he saw it as no, he won the lottery, and she wanted to get her hooks into it.
That is insulting to me. It really is. What did I ask you for? That we could have a home. That's what else did I ask you for?
Money for security.
A home for security, because we were living in rental places that weren't the best. That's what I wanted.
Too. I gave you a bunch of money.
What do you mean you gave me a bunch of money? You gave me money.
You wanted to go to school, you wanted to have money for security, and I gave it to you.
I do appreciate what you do, but you make me sound like this, you know, evil person that's like, give me your money, give me your... Are you kidding me? It's insulting to me.
Did you feel like that you did win the lottery? That it was you, not the two of you?
Yes, at the time when I won it, yes.
Well, so where did all the lottery money go? What Jody accuses Edwin of buying and what his priorities were when we come back. We'll talk about all that next. You bought your brother that house for $500,000?
I gave it to him to help him out, get him on his feet.
Let's be honest, we all knew it was to hide assets.
And later,
my blow dryer was all smashed and my necklaces were like ripped into pieces. And then when I went to put on my lip gloss, I could smell something awful.
I wiped them with my butt. I was mad, and that's how I got back at her.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phill. They're married.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do, Dr. Phill.
But are they choosing other people?
My wife brought a guy home. My daughter heard them going at it in the bedroom.
Over their own kids?
Did you have a date that night at the house?
Yeah, but I didn't sleep with anybody.
He left at 3 in the morning.
Were you there? She told me so many lies about my own father. I did not tell your dad. You did too. Stop lying.
If you've blatantly lied to me, we're done.
That's Monday.
After I found out he paid for his brother's house, I did get a lawyer because we were fighting massively at that point and talking about divorce. The lawyer did tell me I was absolutely entitled to half. Edwin's response when I told him what she said is just to laugh, and he still didn't believe it. He did say there's no way I was getting half of his stuff. I do think our marriage went downhill after Edwin won the lottery. He completely betrayed our family and robbed us of our future.
Well, I'm talking with Jody and her husband, Edwin, who won $1.66 million 2 years ago from winning a lottery ticket he and his co-workers purchased. So, you know, everybody's always curious, what do you do when you win? What do you spend money on when you win the lottery? And you guys were very forthcoming with us about that. So we put together what you spent... what you spent the money on. Here's what Edwin's personal purchases were. You bought 3 trucks up here, different kinds of trucks. Then you spent $39,000 on, what is this thing?
It's a sand rail.
A sand rail,
yeah.
Which is like a dune buggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side by side.
Yeah. I'm getting you on that, okay. And this is like a 4-wheeler?
Yeah, it's a
quad runner type thing. And a snowmobile. And what is this?
It's just a utility trailer.
Oh, that's a trailer.
Yeah.
To put these things in.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is like a motor home type.
Toy hauler.
Yeah, trailer. And then a motorcycle.
Yep.
Or is this the house you bought for your brother?
Yes.
So down here, this is the purchases that you made for Jody and the children. This was the house for the family, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then furnishings for the house, and then a car for the family, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then this was, I see ears. So was this like a vacation?
Yeah, it was Disney World.
This was Disney World. And this was to Mexico?
Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Okay. I recognize that sign. So that was a trip out here, right?
Right.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Then he bought you rings to go with your wedding ring.
Right.
And then, what is this?
Looks like a haircut, but I definitely didn't spend $2,000 on a haircut. So I don't...
Beauty school.
Oh, okay.
These personal purchases here were $755,000, and here $605,000, for a grand total of $1,360,000. So when you add it all up, that's where 1.3 of it went. So that's like 300,000 left over. But there's, that seemed like a lot of money gone, but there's some assets in there, like two houses and new cars and things like that. Yeah. So that leaves 300,000 roughly left, just cash. But you say there's just 50,000 left in the account, so you're saying, well, there's $250,000 missing, right? The question is, where'd that money go? Is there just 50,000 left in the account? I mean, is $250,000 missing?
Right.
You thought divorce was imminent, right?
Yeah.
Did you start kind of moving money around?
No, I just helped my brothers out because they were both struggling.
You bought your brother that house for $500,000?
I gave it to him to help him out, get him on his feet.
And you thought, what's that all about, right?
Well, I had no idea it happened till months later.
Right.
Right.
And did you object to that?
Oh, yeah. Of course I did. Well, because, I mean, I think it was the way it was done. I mean, let's be honest, we all knew it was to hide assets.
Yeah. Was it to hide assets?
More or less.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a different answer than you gave me like 30 seconds ago, because I said you started moving money around because you thought divorce was imminent.
Yeah, well, I thought that way before, but it sounds like I was hiding money, but in reality, I was helping my brother out, and he was going to pay me back a little bit, or if we work things out, I can get the house back in our name, and there'd be no doubt about doing it that way.
I knew something was going on. He finally gave me his Facebook password. I was sick to my stomach. A whole string of messages come up, and I was reading them and just getting more and more disgusted. I was getting Brooke ready for her dance competition. Edwin's cell phone rang, and so I answered it, and then when I said hello, I could hear somebody there, but then they just hung up. I don't know why, but right away, my stomach just dropped. I knew something was going on. I did call the number right back, and it was a woman on the phone. I just said, you were calling my husband's phone, and then she just right away got really defensive. Oh, no, nothing's going on, nothing's going on.
I went out once with a girl I knew since grade 5. When we went out for coffee, we were just friends. Nothing happened.
After arguing for a little while, he finally gave me his Facebook password. I was sick to my stomach. A whole string of messages come up, and I was reading them and just getting more and more disgusted. They were just like, sweetie, honey, I miss you.
I didn't tell Jody because I knew it would blow up into an argument.
I said, well, I don't want you talking to her anymore.
Okay, this bothered you a lot?
Oh, yes.
Did he cross the line here?
Absolutely, I believe he did.
Do you think you did?
No, I don't. It was a girl I went to school since grade 5. I haven't seen her in a long time. She ran into me on Facebook. We were playing a harmless game, Angry Birds, whatever.
Jody provided us some of Edwin's Facebook messages between Edwin and the friend. And here are some of the excerpts. March 29th, 2011, 9:31 p.m. Edwin, oh, they're nice, though. Just wait till you get used to it. Then you'll love it more than me. What cheat did you use? The friend, shaker. Edwin, well, I can shake it better. Smile. 10 minutes later, Edwin, oh, just give it some time. It is just getting to know you. Then you will be paying more attention to it than me. Edwin, come on, sweetie. you have to give me time to catch up to you. Then I'm supposed to be on top, remember? 18 minutes later, Edwin, well, sunshine, I'm going to hit the hay. Holy long day, hey? Edwin, but you have a good night. Friend, you too, hon. Miss you. Heart. Miss you too. What is with the heart? Smile. Besides that, it means love. Friend, ha ha. Yeah, it means love. Laugh out loud. Smile. Hearts. Love, love, love. Laugh out loud. Edwin, okay, silly. I would give it back, but I don't know, so I will just stick with the smile. So, heart symbol. Take care, sweet dreams. So it just kind of goes on like that.
As bad as that conversation sounded, it's not what everybody thinks. We were talking about that game we were playing.
I think she wasn't so worried about how you got to the next level as she was the hun and the sweetie.
That's exactly
and
what it was.
Heart, 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 and all of that, which I'm pretty sure wasn't Angry Birds specific. That's more like Angry Wife game. That's what you objected to, right?
Right. And it was the fact that, I mean, he did go meet her for coffee a couple times.
I just met her once, and that was it. Just went for
see, my thing is, if you weren't doing anything wrong, then why would you call me and say you were working late?
Because if I actually said, I'm going to go for a coffee with this girl I haven't seen since high school.
That didn't send up any red flags that maybe it was over the line. That's why you had to...
Because if I went your way, it would have hit the fan anyway, so...
And when you're how would you feel if you read stuff like I was talking to somebody like that?
I feel bad, but I wouldn't think that you're trying to hook up with them.
The Dr. Phill definition of cheating, if you wouldn't do it with her standing there?
I have once with her, but yeah, true, but...
Then if you wouldn't do it with her standing there, then that's flirting or cheating or crossing the line. If you wouldn't do it with her, if you wouldn't have typed that stuff to her and done those hearts and stuff with her sitting right there next to you, then it's probably not the best idea to do it, right?
Sure, yeah.
And you wouldn't have done that if she'd been sitting there, would you?
No.
Let's take a break. Coming up, Jody's mom, Linda, is here and says Edwin's lottery win has turned him into a jerk. Well, he's not so fond of her at this point either. We'll talk about all that when we come back.
Edwin used to be an amazing dad before he won the lottery. Now he is very selfish and very self-centered.
Well, I'm sitting here with a couple of millionaires because Edwin became a millionaire overnight when he won a work pool lottery 2 years ago. His wife Jody says a lot of their marriage problems stem from that big win. But she isn't the only one who says the money changed things. Jody's mom, Linda, says winning the lottery turned Edwin from being the sweetest guy to a downright jerk. Take a look.
Edwin and I had a very good relationship before he won the lottery. He was a really, really nice guy. Now he is very selfish and very self-centered. And what Edwin wants, Edwin gets. Edwin used to be an amazing dad. Now he just kind of completely ignores both the girls. He does pay a lot of attention to his daughter, but not to the twins. It is very painful now, the way things are.
Well, Linda and Edwin haven't spoken to each other in almost 3 weeks. Now, the last time they spoke was before a big fight that erupted in the Dominican Republic while on a family vacation. Take a look.
About 2 weeks ago, we all went on a vacation in the Dominican. Edwin was drunker than a skunk.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, I had a knock on the door, and he was just in his underwear.
Security brought me back to the room because I was lost after going for a swim in the ocean.
I was really frustrated and angry and just exploded, and I tried to push him out of the room. Then he became really angry and started yelling, "You're going to hit me, you're going to abuse me," and then he started like slapping himself really hard.
So I went into their room, I hollered at Edwin, and I grabbed him, and I pushed him onto the bed.
Security then came upstairs, and I had went into the other room. That night, I could hear a whole bunch of banging. So when I went into the room the next morning, my blow jar was all smashed, and my flat iron was broken. My necklaces were like ripped into pieces, and I picked up my makeup brush. It was all like stuck together, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Pieces of like poop. And then when I went to put on my lip gloss, I could smell something awful, and I looked in the tube, and there was like poop like around the tube that I just spread all over my mouth.
I wiped them with my butt, just popped in my head. I was mad, and that's how I got back at her.
Edwin and I have not even seen each other since the vacation. Right now, I have such hate for him, I won't talk to him. You don't even have the nerve to look at me.
No, I have.
Don't. Oh.
Yes, Dr. Phill.
Tell me again about these makeup brushes and lip gloss.
I got back, I was so mad and drunk that I wiped her brushes with my butt and broke her stuff. As sick as it sounds, yes.
Yeah. It's like, here's poop in your face, dear.
The next morning, you come in and all your stuff's destroyed.
Some of it, yeah.
And then you go to put your makeup on. And did you actually use the lip glosses?
Yeah, I mean, hours later, we were going out for dinner. And obviously, I checked all my other makeup over, and it was fine. And then I grabbed my tube of lipstick and went to put it on. And I'm like, oh, my God, what is that? And I smelled and immediately freaked out, of course, and scrubbing, trying to wash my face. And
how do you feel about that?
No, I feel bad about it.
Okay.
But at the time, I wasn't in the right state of mind. I wasn't thinking.
But you do recognize that's like really bad idea.
Yes.
I do not like her treated like you treat her.
no, it's
I'm
not
married
that.
to Jody, not to you.
How did you get in an argument over a cup of sand?
It was the cruise. I went swimming. I got a cup of sand for a souvenir, whatever, to bring back home. I got off the boat. I give it to her. It's not a big deal. It's only a cup of sand
God,
from the
it
Caribbean.
was.
No. But I give it to her. Like, my baby was fussing with grandma on the front of the boat, so I hop off. We were at the back. I go get my baby girl, bring her back to shore, because we're ending cruise, and give the, like, hold on to this, because I wanted to bring it home. Sentimental value to me, right? She gives it to her daughter, and then her daughter gives it to grandma, and grandma's, what the hell is this for, and throws it right out.
No, I didn't. I carried it for quite a ways.
Well, if you lose a cup of sand at the
I wasn't
beach,
mad about the
can
sand.
you just get another
Yeah,
cup of
I
sand?
tried.
You're at the beach.
I did.
Okay, all right, just checking.
But it wasn't over the cup of sand. It was over.
Let's
Okay.
be real here. You
I
were
am.
upset.
So that's why I'm sure I understood it right, that there was a fight over sand at the
Yes.
beach. Because
It was before
if
the
there's
sand.
one thing that's plentiful at the beach, it's sand. Coming up, Jody says Edwin has an alcohol problem and needs to get that under control. Edwin doesn't think he has a problem, but does say he occasionally drinks to escape her nagging. We'll talk about that when we come back, because I'm trying to find a way to climb back up the ladder here. We'll be right back.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phill. They're married,
Do you have a girlfriend?
but are they cheating?
My wife brought a guy home.
I didn't sleep with anybody.
He left at 3 in the morning.
Were you there?
Somebody is lying to me.
That's Monday.
I do think Edwin has a drinking problem.
I don't think I have a drinking problem. If I wanted to stop, I could.
When Edwin drinks, he gets really mean and hurtful.
When she's in one of her moods, I could drink that six-pack like no tomorrow. I feel drinking is a reality escape for me.
Does he have a drinking problem?
I believe he does. I mean, he doesn't drink all the time, but I believe it can get out of hand, most definitely.
You were concerned when you went on this vacation?
Yes, because...
I was concerned before we went on that vacation.
Edwin, I hate when you drink. I hate it. Because you get
I
mean.
can't even have a few drinks. You think I'm an alcoholic?
Because you can't have a few.
Yeah, I can.
Your attitude changes completely when you're drinking.
You said whenever you met, you had lost your driver's license due to drinking.
Yeah, I had an impaired previous before we met.
3?
You had a DUI. Have you had more than one?
Yes, I have.
How many?
No, 3 and over the past 10 years.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, well, your chances of getting a DUI are like 1 in 5,000. So you're, I mean, if you've gotten hit 3 times, you must be drinking and driving with a fair amount of frequency if you've been hit 3 times. You had a blow box on your car for 2 years.
Yeah, in my truck.
Then Christmas, just this last year, were you in jail?
Oh, I got put in the holding tanks.
Drunk tank?
Yeah.
Just
I
this
went to my
last
Christmas party.
And then on the vacation where you were talking about, you showed up at the door of your room drunk in your underwear?
Oh, I went to the beach to get another cup of sand.
There's that sand again. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you showed up at your door drunk in your underwear with another cup of sand with security, and then you were drunk enough that you tore up her hair dryer and some of her stuff, and then you violated her makeup brushes and lip gloss in a way that you got to be pretty drunk for that to make sense.
Yes.
I mean,
I wouldn't do that in a sober state of mind.
there's a pattern here that you got to think that's starting to, and I'm just wondering, what are you so angry about?
I bottle my feelings up. I don't let them out. I got nobody to talk to.
You can talk to me.
You don't listen to me.
You seem really angry. And now you're behaving in a very chip on your shoulder, abrasive way.
Yep.
Now, you say, look, that's not all coming from the inside out. A lot of that is I'm reacting to the fact that she is nagging me, controlling me, picking at me, and bickering constantly to the point that I'm just like, help, shoot.
Doesn't matter what I do.
Put me out of my misery. Hell yes. I'll admit to anything. Just shut up.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you'll just shut up. I get that. You're frustrated. I also get that you have a marriage and a family here, and you have a precious daughter.
Yes, I do.
She loves her daddy, and she loves her mother.
Yes, she does.
And you can't be pissed off at her and bottled up inside and not change who you are for that little girl. You think you can. You think you can be all loving with her and just pissed off over here. But let me tell you,
I understand that.
anger and bitterness is a pervasive emotion. And it goes into every relationship and everything you have. And doesn't she deserve better than that? Doesn't she deserve all of her daddy?
Yeah.
Doesn't she deserve a happy home?
Yeah, she deserves more than that.
You guys think about that for a minute.
The last time I saw my mom and Edwin fighting, it just made me really scared and nervous. It makes me sad because, I want them just happy.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
Brooke has definitely developed animosity towards Edwin. Once he asked her to go brush her teeth, but she had said no. And so he was mopping up like dog pee, and then he came around and chased her up the stairs. He caught her and he was standing over top of her and he put the mop on her face. Edwin didn't really see anything wrong with what he did.
When Edwin came into Jody's life, what she loved most about him was how well he connected with her girls from a prior relationship. Now, both she and her mom, Linda, say it's a struggle for him to even acknowledge their presence, and that creates tension, and it's confusing for him. And, you know, you've said that you're kind of letting them set the tone, right?
Yeah, not me, they are.
It's just kind of up to them. You know, if they want to engage, they don't.
I acknowledge their presence. Yeah. I know they're there. Yeah. I say, hi, how's it going, girls? How was school or whatever? But it's like talking to them. I get no reply back.
You don't a lot of the time, no.
No.
Most of the time.
No.
I want you to imagine for me. I want you to fast forward and say, let's assume that this marriage falls apart. Let's assume that you're right, you've had all you can take, this marriage falls apart. Fast forward 6, 7 years, she's remarried, and your daughter is now living in a home with her and her new husband.
Yeah.
How would you want that new husband to make your daughter feel about herself?
Good, happy, treat her like
How would you want him to make her feel about herself? Here's what one of the twins had to say about what's going on in your home right now.
When I see my mom and Edwin fighting, it makes me sad because, like, I want them just happy. The last time I saw my mom and Edwin fighting was in Punta Cana, and it was actually a really big fight. And it just made me really scared and nervous because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I went to my little baby sister to protect her, and, like, I was just scared for her. I knew he was out of his mind. At first, he was, like, hitting himself in the face, which I thought he was going to hit Mom, which I started crying. I love her. I don't want her to be sad, too.
Sorry?
That sounds really bad.
That's how it is.
But I'm getting attacked here. It's both of us, and it's not only me going, drinking, and coming home and just yelling to scare the poor little girl.
Jody and Edwin came on this show because they said they really wanted to find some peace and work this out. Can that happen? I'm going to tell you what I think when we come back.
I wrote to Dr. Phill because I didn't feel like I could handle it anymore. As you look at Dr. Phill as our last hope, because with the girls and stuff, it can't keep going on like it's going on.
I definitely want Dr. Phill to be able to get Edwin some help of some kind.
You won the lottery, and it
should be happy.
It creates disequilibrium, though. Mm-hmm. And it's that first year, that first 18 months, that creates all kinds of problems.
Oh, it does.
I mean, you look at people that win the lottery. There's these unlucky lottery winners. Denise Rossi, $1.3 million, lied during divorce proceedings about winnings, and the judge awarded the money to their ex. Willie Hurt, $3.1 million, charged for murder. Ibby, and I can't pronounce the last name, $5 million, killed by her husband. Evelyn Adams, $5.4 million, gambled the money away, now broke. Jeffrey Dampierre, $20 million, killed by sister-in-law. Billy Bob Harrell Jr., $31 million, committed suicide. Jack Whitaker, $315 million. Wish never won the money. I mean, these things can just destroy people's lives. You know, Maslow described it. We have these needs, but you know what happens? You win the lottery, and all of this love, belonging, and esteem, a lot of that comes from feeling like we have worth by what we do, and we feel like we didn't do anything for this, and we kind of lose our balance. Don't lose your equilibrium here.
Okay.
If you will let me bring you some help here, you will be so much better in a short period of time, you won't believe it. If you will just decide to stop being a victim and start being a leader in this situation and lead your family where it needs to go, you will be amazed what you can create. I will get you the help to do this. Give me 90 days to work on this. You will be amazed how much better this will get. Will you do that? I want to thank all of my guests for being here today. Thanks for being here. So long. All right, guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Today on Dr. Phill.
I was trapped in a religious group for 9 years and kept as a sexual maiden.
She claims as a child she was given to an alleged cult leader.
Everything that a wife would do, we had to do for him.
And says her father knew what was going on.
It made sense to you to turn your 13-year-old child over to this creep?
I didn't know all those other things were happening.
In statements to the police, you said, I knew he was having sex with my daughter, but I didn't want to be an outcast.
I would never have done that.
Can dad and daughter,
you still don't own this, do you?
Overcome their past?
When you were into your 20s, you didn't know what was happening, and nobody had anything.
Are you trying to blame me? It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Okay, take a look at Lindsay in this video. She's laughing, playing, having a good time with her family. But just a few years later, at the young age of 13, she says her life would take a tragic turn and she would become a maiden. A maiden. And when I say maiden, you have no idea what that is going to lead to, because this man right here was a leader of a religious organization. His name is Victor Bernard, and she was one of 10 maidens that was in a religious sect called River Road Fellowship. Take a look.
The search is on for the former leader of River Road Fellowship in rural Pine County.
He's a former minister from Pine County, Minnesota, who reportedly led a cult and kept a group of girls as concubines.
52-year-old Victor Barnard is charged with 59 counts of criminal sexual conduct.
According to investigators, Barnard began having sex with girls as young as 13, telling them he represented God's flesh, that it was okay and not to tell anyone.
Was able to use, spiritual coercion, spiritual intimidation, and he took advantage of that.
After 12 years of abuse, one of the girls told her story to investigators. Victor Barnard fled the camp with some of his religious followers and with police in pursuit.
Washington State Patrol is searching for the former leader of a Minnesota religious cult. After leaving Minnesota, Bernard's last known location was near Spokane, Washington.
A nationwide search has been underway for Barnard since April. The Washington State Patrol says they received a tip yesterday that Barnard was at a McDonald's in Raymond near the Washington coast.
Well, Lindsay says Victor called for all firstborn girls to be sacrificed unto God and move into his compound, Shepherd's Camp, where they would be on rotation to perform wifely duties for him.
When we first moved to the Shepherd's Camp, there were about 80 people living on the grounds. Victor gave a teaching to the church that in the Bible, the firstborn children were to be sacrificed to God. Victor listed off 10 girls' names that he wanted as maidens. And I was selected as one of the 10 maidens. I was 13 at the time. All of us girls lived together in one house. 2 girls would be assigned to assist Victor, and we'd be on rotation. We would go in to wake him up in the morning and hand him his towel after he showered. We did all the sewing, cooking, cleaning, gave him massages, cut his hair. We even cut his toenails. Everything that a wife would do, we had to do for him.
Well, in this case, everything a wife would do included being intimate even at 13 years of age.
Victor had a ceremony with the 10 maidens, and all of our parents were there. He had us all wear veils over our foreheads, and he gave us rings to wear on our ring fingers. He would dip his finger in a dish of salt and then put it on our tongue, and then he would put salt on his tongue. And it was signifying that we were spiritually married to Victor. My parents witnessed the salt ceremony. It was clear to me at that moment that my parents weren't going to stop it. Victor brought me to the lodge when I was 13. He proceeded to tell me that because he was Christ in the flesh, his way of showing God's love to me was to sexually take care of me, and that it would be natural and spiritual, and that even though I would have sex with him, I could remain a virgin. I remember feeling very scared. I didn't want to do anything to make him mad because I didn't want to be hit again. Throughout all of this, I was convinced by Victor that I was blessed by God and chosen, and somehow this was right in his eyes. In the beginning, he would have sex with me sometimes at 5 times a month. There were times when Victor would have sex with me and he would get mad at me because he said I wasn't being passionate enough with him. And it kind of became to the point where if we were doing well in his eyes spiritually, that's when he would have sex with us. I was trapped in a religious group and kept as a sexual maiden by Victor Bernard for 9 years.
Well, Lindsay, I'm glad to meet you now under this circumstance where you're here and not still in that situation, which you certainly could be and others still are, correct?
Yes.
Including some of your family members.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the fact that they're still in his clutches?
It saddens me. It makes me very upset. It worries me. I miss them.
You talked about this salt ceremony, where this was essentially a wedding ceremony, correct?
Right, yes.
And your parents were there. Your father stood in that ceremony.
Yes, my mom and dad were both there.
And what did you think at the time?
At the time, I was very confused on why they had allowed all this to happen. I had been crying myself to sleep at night because I missed them so much. I couldn't believe that my dad and mom had agreed to let me stay with Victor after he told them that he may or may not have sex with me.
You said before this ceremony, he met with your parents and had the clergy with him. And you said, I was 14, and Victor told the parents that he may or may not have sex with us, and went through the different verses of the Bible to prove that it was okay.
He said that Jesus Christ had Mary Magdalene and other women, and the Apostle Paul had Phoebe and other women when he went into Asia, and that it would be spiritual and natural for him to take care of me in that way.
Why do you think that your father didn't say, wait a minute, you may or may not, you're not going to have sex with my 14-year-old child?
I think my dad was maybe afraid. He was a coward. I don't understand how he couldn't protect me, how he could just let something like that happen.
But he did. And you believe he knew it?
Oh, yes, I believe he knew.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay has not seen her father, Carmen, in a year. And we're going to find out why. He says he believed that Lindsay was actually blessed to live at Shepherd's Camp with the alleged cult leader, Victor Bernard, because the father is here and he wants to talk about this. We'll be right back.
The maidens were these young girls in service to the church. Lindsay was one of the youngest. That was considered a privilege for her and for us. I had no indication that she was in danger at all.
And later,
I was a child. You and Mom allowed it to happen.
Into your 20s, you didn't know it was happening?
Are you trying to blame me?
I'm not blaming you on anything.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
Victor reproved me for gaining weight and said that he would no longer have sex with me until I had lost the weight. When he told me that, I felt very ugly and unwanted. It made me feel very bad about myself. At that time, I wanted God and Victor to be pleased with me.
well, that was Lindsay talking about how alleged cult leader Victor Bernard punished her for gaining weight. Now, Lindsay's father, Carmen, says he believed it was a blessing, a privilege for his then 13-year-old daughter to be one of the alleged cult leader's maidens, to serve him as a representative of Christ in the flesh. And he had no idea that she was being abused.
Victor presented himself as someone who was to be the man of God to the church. Many people that followed him started calling him an apostle. The maidens were these young girls in service to the church, and in serving him was considered service to the church. Lindsay was at the time 13 years old and one of the youngest. That was considered a privilege for her and for us to do that and partake of this program. Through those years, we would see Lindsay at least once a week. She seemed very happy. I had no indication that she was in danger at all. First time I realized that something wasn't right was when he called my wife and I in, talked about scripture that he had in the Bible concerning the women that were unmarried, and if they wanted to have sexual relations with someone, that he would have the responsibility of taking care of that. It was not easy for me to go up against Victor, and I felt like almost like I couldn't do anything, almost in bondage. A fearful thing came over me. Lindsay lived under Victor's counsel and direction for 9 years. My relationship with Lindsay right now is very strained. She probably has an issue with me not protecting her. But if you don't understand how mind control works and how that manipulation really gets to a person, that's what it did to me.
Well, the first time Carmen and Lindsay have seen each other in a year is right now. So how do you feel seeing your daughter right now?
Right now, Dr. Phill, I feel overwhelmed. It's been a year since we've seen each other, and during that time, there's not a day goes by that I don't count the cost of realizing that I take my full accountability and responsibility for what had taken place.
But you really don't, because you tell her that you didn't know what was going on at the time, right?
Correct.
And you don't believe that.
How could you not know? You and Mom took salt when you guys got married, and you saw Victor taking salt with me, with a veil over my head, with a ring on my ring finger that he had given me. And he did a teaching that said that the 10 of us are more than concubines. And then the meeting that he had asked, that he said that he may or may not have sex with me. I was only 14. How could you not know?
During that meeting, he told us he went through Scripture, and he tried to prove through Scripture that he would have responsibility of fulfilling this action if later on at time, later on in your life, if you still wanted to be unmarried and serve in the church, that he would have that responsibility. And I disagreed with him, if you remember that. And I did not give a blessing or an okay.
So then why did you just leave me there?
I felt like I was manipulated into his power. And then he told me, Carmen, I am not saying that this is going to happen. And therefore thinking in retrospect, there again is his deception for loyalty.
What I remember from the meeting is Victor saying he may or may not have sex with me. And no, even if you did disagree with him, you didn't do your job as a father. You abandoned me. You left me there for all those years. You saw me humiliated and kicked out of meetings in front of the whole church. I don't understand why you keep saying you didn't know what happened, and the way your family has treated me has been so awful. People telling me I need to stop playing the victim and become a survivor, and I know I still have a lot to grow, but I am a survivor.
I had asked you years ago for forgiveness, and you told me that you don't know if you could forgive me.
But you still don't own this till today, though, do you? I listened to everything that you've said, and you said, look, people don't get it. If you haven't been under mind control, if you haven't had somebody isolate you and take control of your mind and tell you that you have to do this or you're not being faithful to God, then you can't understand this. Let me tell you, I understand mind control. I get what you're saying. And you cannot abdicate your role as a father. And you cannot tell me that you became so blind that you let someone distort the scripture so badly that it made sense to you to turn your 13-year-old child over to this creep?
I didn't know all those other things were happening.
You really thought if he was bringing it up then that he would wait till I was legal? It makes no sense.
And later, if some guy comes up to me and says, hey, Christ in the flesh here.
To me, it's not a laughing matter, and it is absurd.
It is absurd. It is a laughing matter because it is so absurd, it's ridiculous. I want to look at some of the email exchanges you've had because I think it says a lot. You've written to her. You have reached out. You said, Dear Lindsay, I respect your request for needing time and space. But in my heart, I just needed to write you. I take full responsibility for having you and our family in the dangerous situations and atmosphere that we were in, and particularly you. I failed to walk away with you clutched to my arm, not only in that first meeting where VB made those preposterous and devilish suggestions and questions. I spoke the truth to you when I told you that I did not know that those things were taking place with you, and I did not give my blessings. I'm hearing him talk out of both sides of his mouth there.
You totally contradict yourself.
I spoke the truth when I told you I did not know those things were taking, but I did not give my blessings. So you either turned her over or you didn't. What do you mean? All right, I give you my daughter, but not my blessings. You can have her, but I don't bless it. What the hell does that mean?
My perspective was that she was serving in the church. I didn't know all those other things were happening.
If somebody came to you and said, I was 14 at the time, at that time, you really thought if he was bringing it up then that he would wait till I was legal? It makes no sense. I
don't understand, because that's what he told me.
Well, let me tell you, if that's true, are you saying that that would be an arranged marriage? I'm just going to turn you over, and when the clock ticks 18, have at her?
No.
What the hell's that?
My biggest mistake was to trust the wrong man. And when he told me that Carmen, I'm not saying that this is going to happen. Even after an age of 18 or so, I still didn't give a blessing, but all of her indications, all of her notes and things that were telling me that she was enjoying where she was.
She was a child.
Even in 18, 19, 20 years old, I was still getting these letters, and I don't understand that, if somebody, Lindsay, do you think for 1 minute, being as a father to you, that if I knew that you were getting abused or hurt in any way, that I wouldn't come and that would jar something in me? I know that it would. It would have.
It obviously didn't, because Victor made it clear what he was doing. And I have no idea why you can't.
But it didn't, because I looked at the excerpts from the probable cause statements with the police. Father said he felt that was wrong, but he felt pressured not to say anything against Bernard and didn't.
Right.
It says you felt that it was wrong. You knew it at the time. You say, looking back on it now, that he knew Bernard had sex with his daughter when she was a child.
I knew. I did not know that she had
That's what you told the police.
After Lindsay told me, I knew. I didn't know that he had sex with you before that.
It says, looking back on it now, that he knew Bernard had sex with his daughter when she was still a child. He said he did not know what he was thinking at the time, but just remembers always feeling so much pressure to not become an outcast and lose everything he had. So I knew he was having sex with my daughter, but I didn't want to be an outcast, and if the price to pay was her, then I would pay it. That's all that means to
Lindsay,
me.
I would never have done that. I would never have done that.
This is how you've treated me since I left. The night before I had the meeting with the FBI, you called me and you said, I don't know what you're telling people, but I'm losing friends over this. Like, you're more concerned about your reputation than what I went through. And you would say that you're the loneliest man on the earth and you feel like your family has left you, when I didn't have any of you guys around when I was 13. And I'd see you maybe once a month at a big church meeting, but I always had to have a chaperone with me. We were never allowed to speak alone. I mean, you said I seemed happy, but how did you really know? You weren't in my life. You didn't know that one summer I had one skirt and 2 t-shirts to wear all summer long. That in the winter my boots had holes in them, so I had to put newspapers in them so my feet would stay dry.
Honey, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
But isn't it your job to know?
Yes, it is my job to know.
Isn't it your job to know? You don't turn that over to the church. You don't turn it over. Some guy comes and tells you he's Christ in the flesh, and you say, oh, well, okay, here's my daughter. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. My daughter's not worth being an outcast.
No. When I spoke to the official, when I spoke to the sheriff, that was after Lindsay told me what happened. And then I knew what was happening because she told me. I didn't know before that, and I'm telling you, I didn't know. If I would have known, I would have pulled you out immediately. It would have jarred me into some sense, some thinking.
I don't understand how you couldn't have known.
And I didn't understand what happened either then.
All right, well, let's take a break. Lindsay refused her father's invitation to move into his home with a very clear, back the hell off. We're going to talk more about that when we come back.
When I finally told my parents that Victor had sexually abused me for those 9 years, I remember asking my dad if he remembered the meeting that Victor had when he asked for their blessing, and he said he did remember it. It made me very angry inside that he never said that he was sorry for letting all that happen to me. I consider what Victor did to me rape and molestation. From the times that I saw Victor and my dad together, it was pleasant. They seemed like they were friends. Even after my father knew what was happening to me, he did not fight for me and did not get angry at Victor for abusing me. I felt abandoned. I felt mad at my dad for leaving me there.
There was Lindsay talking about how her father, Carmen, allowed her to be abused by alleged cult leader Victor Bernard, who has been charged with 59 felony counts involving criminal sexual conduct and is currently evading law enforcement. They're looking for him. But Carmen says his daughter always talked about how happy and blessed she was to be living with Victor at Shepherd's Camp. So he says, look, the only input I had was from her. And she was saying everything is fine, so I had no idea. I had nothing to react to, right?
Correct.
And in fact, one of the things you said was, how could I help when there were no signs of a problem? That's your quote. How could I help when there were no signs of a problem? Well, so I made a list of what I thought were red flags that I thought would jump out to anyone. Number one, it was all about him. He described himself as Christ in the flesh.
Correct.
Is that not, you know, if some guy comes up to me and says, hey, Christ in the flesh here.
To me, it's not a laughing matter, and it is absurd.
It is absurd. It is a laughing matter because it is so absurd, it's ridiculous. When somebody says that to me, it's like, really? Really? You're Christ in the flesh. You're Christ in the flesh. That to me, wouldn't that be, it's
absurd.
Okay. You saw Christ in the flesh spit in people's faces.
We were all at meals together. You saw him spit in people's faces.
80 people at a meal. He would get up. People were not doing what he wanted them to do. He would get mad and spit in their faces. You're telling me you never saw that?
I don't remember ever seeing him spit in anybody's face. I don't.
Yes, he did.
He made radical interpretations of scriptures that you knew well.
Right.
Bring me your firstborn daughters. Exodus 13:2. Don't say that. That talks about the sons of the Israelites. It doesn't talk about, it's the first from the womb. Sons, animals. It doesn't talk about bring me your daughters. That's not a red flag to you? That's a distortion of what it says?
It is a red flag, and it was distorted, and I felt manipulated into believing him.
He managed by intimidation and ultimatum. You knew that, correct?
Yes.
Give me your daughters. 10 maidens to go with me. 10 maidens. He threatened banishment for failure to comply. Right? You do what I tell you or you're out. Right?
Right.
Your gut told you not to give your daughter over to be a maiden.
I felt like I was just blinded.
Did he say to you at one point, and this is a quote that you gave us, she isn't your little girl anymore?
He did. You know how many times I wanted to pull you out of there in my right mind thinking, I don't belong here. How many times I voiced to leave that place through all those 10 or 11 years, and I had not one backup from Lindsay, and you were there at those meetings, so I wanted to leave and go home.
Dad, I was a child. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. You and Mom allowed it to happen.
And when you were even 18 and 19 and 20 years old, into your 20s, you didn't know it was happening? And nobody had anything to come to me with.
Are you trying to blame me?
I'm not blaming you on anything.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. It always feels like you're trying to blame me for what happened.
I'm being blamed right now. I'm being blamed, and I take the responsibility for what happened and putting my family in that situation, and I take the accountability for that.
Let me tell you something. You are giving her a message of blame, and I'm apparently giving you one, and I don't intend to, because there's a difference between blame and responsibility.
Okay.
Blame implies intent. And Carmen, I do not believe that you ever had a bad intent. To be responsible, you only have to have taken or failed to take necessary action. And that is what applies to you. You are responsible for abandoning your daughter to this creep. And this child is a 100% victim. Now, we're going to add somebody to this conversation in a minute. There's actually a co-founder of this fellowship, River Road Fellowship. He's here. We're going to find out what he says he witnessed that made him wonder if Victor Bernard was sexually involved with his maidens. We'll be right back.
Victor is very charismatic. He always initially comes across as very caring. There was definitely affection displayed with the maidens. As time went on and they got older, more and more.
Victor abused me from 13 until I was 22. Everything that he did was terrible. Victor is currently on the run, and I hope he pays for what he did to me. I cannot wait for Victor to get what he deserves.
The co-founder of River Road Fellowship, David, says he began to question whether alleged cult leader Victor Bernard was having sexual relationships with his 10 maidens after he witnessed Victor's outward expressions of affection towards them.
My name is David, and I used to be friends with Victor Bernard. Victor is very charismatic. He always initially comes across as very caring. The original intent and what was shared about the maidens was not to serve Victor, but the practical taking care of the camp. There was definitely affection displayed with the maidens. As time went on and they got older, more and more. And it was about him trying to take a role of like more of a husband. It came to my attention and a number of other people's attention that Victor had been sleeping with some married women. I wrote a letter and confronted him over multiple things, including that. One of the things that I stipulated in the letter that his relationship with the maidens was completely wrong. I came to the point that he was actually a sexual prowler and that he basically was trying to sleep with every woman in the ministry. Today, I consider Victor Bernard an extremely evil man, a pedophile, sexual prowler, and one of the most disgusting individuals I've ever known. Victor deserves to be brought to justice and spend the rest of his life in prison.
Well, David is here. You thought, okay, so this isn't Christ in the flesh. This guy's doing things that are corrupting the spirituality of this whole fellowship here. And so then you have to look and say, oh my God, he has these 10, some of them children, living with him. So at that point, why not call the authorities?
When I sit and hear Lindsay's story and all the things that took place, there's probably 75 to 90% of it that I had even zero recollection about. Like even when the way, to me, how this whole maidens developed, there was, the older ones were 16, 17, 18 years old when it started to develop as a group. It clearly appeared that they were pursuing that they were wanting to basically remain unmarried. Then younger ones wanted to kind of follow suit, and that it was all being initiated by them. And when they first came in, quote, as a group, they were there for a few months, kind of like almost a summer camp. It was never a permanent thing. I didn't even personally even know anything about, quote, assault covenant. So a lot of the things didn't seem at all like they really were.
So what do you think about Victor at this point?
He is one of the most evil, disgusting, perverted people I've ever come in contact with.
You think he should be tracked down and prosecuted?
Oh, that's what I've been fighting for 5 years.
Now, when you decided to do the show, you told us that David started to contact you.
That's correct.
And you were uncomfortable with that.
Right.
She told us you were calling her. We asked you not to contact her
further. No, nobody
further.
told me that. In fact, if there's anything, I was asked the question, have you talked to her? And that was the main reason why I even was checking.
Why were you calling her?
I didn't even know what the show was about, so I wanted to actually just see how she was doing and try to get a little bit more clear about what really was going to happen.
You knew what the show was about.
Well, I didn't know specifically that Carmen Weem was going to be here. Nobody told me, so I had no idea.
I'm being a little protective and a little careful here because of her experience before and your history before. And this is Amy Jo and the producer and Letitia. So, Letitia, there's some question here about what took place. And I want this young lady to have straight information from us for sure. So what took place?
Absolutely. We were informed that David was contacting her. And when I communicated with David, I let him know, first off, why are you contacting Lindsay? And there is no need to contact Lindsay. If he has any questions, to give me a call. And after that, he said he wanted to reach out to her to see what she was going to say. They were going to communicate. And I said there is no need. There is absolutely no need to communicate with her, that I will be the communication process.
I'm just wanting to be sure that we're not, again, giving her muddled, confused messages in any way. Of you saying one thing and you saying something else.
I feel so bad right now. From the time that I was communicated with on Friday about coming out here, for me, I thought I made that very clear with Letitia, that it had one main purpose, was to support Lindsay.
You did mention that your intent was to help. And you mentioned to me that you were one of the ones who helped kind of push forward the movement of connecting with law enforcement, and that you were a voice to help. And I did say thank you to that.
Yeah, and law enforcement has said as much as well, that you've pushed this forward with regard to Victor. And you really don't want to have contact.
It's difficult for me to have any contact with the adults from Minnesota because it brings up abandonment issues, why nobody said anything.
You will respect the fact.
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
We're going to take a break. Is anyone besides Victor liable in this situation? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
The State Patrol believes it has a strong tip that might lead them to an alleged cult leader, 52-year-old Victor Barnard, who reportedly kept a group of girls as concubines.
Victor is the bad guy. I have been made to feel by friends and even relatives that I'm the bad guy, and I feel like I'm just getting beat up. I can take it. I don't have a reputation to uphold, except that I'm God's kid and Lindsay's father.
I still have nightmares every night with Victor. I have flashbacks often of Minnesota and what happened there. I could see a mom and a girl walking down the street and feel upset and angry and sad all at the same time. I would like Dr. Phill to help me to learn how to become at peace with what happened to me and that my nightmares would stop.
There are charges and allegations against Victor Barnard. I want to talk to CNN legal analyst Sonny Hostin, who's a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show here. Sonny, first, it's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm well, Dr. Phill. Thank you so much for having me, as always, especially on this, such an important issue. You know, I know you're not in the blame game, in the blame business, Dr. Phill, but I am in the blame business, because as a lawyer and as a prosecutor, that's what I do, right? I look for blame, I look for responsibility. Carmen, even if you didn't know, the law provides that as her father, you should have known. And, sir, you certainly should have. You used your daughter as currency to become a member of that church. You made a deal with the devil, and that is a horrible, horrible crime.
Lindsay, that's the way you feel, right?
Yes, that's exactly the way I feel.
And Lindsay, you're right. And I want to say this to you, Lindsay, because I've worked with so many survivors of child sex abuse. And I want to call you a survivor, a victor, because that is what you are. You are so great to have gone to the police with your story, to be here today sharing your story with all of us. And in doing so, you are protecting so many children. You have no idea. And I applaud you for being the brave woman that you have
become. And let's talk about Victor for a minute. This man has one count of first-degree sexual conduct with a person under 13 years of age, 45 counts of felony first-degree criminal sexual conduct by a person in a position of authority with a person between the ages of 13 and 15, and 13 counts of felony third-degree criminal sexual conduct by a member or purported member of the clergy. These are serious charges. Sonny, if he gets captured and prosecuted for these charges, what kind of time is he looking at?
There's 59 counts here. Many of the counts carry a prison term of 30 years in prison per count. And let's remember, Dr. Phill, this is only for his abuse of Lindsay and one other girl. So if he gets prosecuted, he's never going to see the light of day.
Okay. All right. Sonny, thank you, and stay with us. Carmen says he wants my advice on how he and Lindsay can heal this relationship and be a family again. I want to know what Lindsay has to say about that. We'll be right back. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phill? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
So my Twitter followers are having a heated discussion about this topic. Mad J's mom says there is so much denial by so many who need to step up. This poor girl has more strength than these men put together. Sherry Lee Adams says, these adults would do well to pray for the victims and forgiveness for not stopping it. Angelina says, any adult who insists to be alone with a child is a red flag in and of itself. Now, what do you want?
Right now, I would like my dad to give me my space. I would like to learn how to eventually be at peace with knowing what my parents did to me. At this point in my life, I don't want you in it.
I want you to allow us to make a gift to you of bringing that help to you, to give you the clarity and the strength that you need to do the things that you need to do, just as our gift to you. Allow us to do that for you. Will you let us do that for you?
Yes, thank you so much.
We very much want to do that to you. And Carmen, I strongly suggest that you allow us the time and space to bring your daughter this help, because as she grows stronger and has a better grip on who she is, her chance to find the strength to forgive and redefine a relationship with you is just going to go greater. And I'm going to also offer you some help here, because I believe that at this point you are not being authentic with yourself about what your ownership in this situation has been. And if I get you that help, will you take that help?
Absolutely.
I mean, you need help in doing that, and I will do that. And Sonny, you've worked so much with these kind of victims, and you have seen them, women with much less ego strength than we're seeing from Lindsay right now, climb up from the ashes and stand on their own 2 feet. People do get better from this, correct?
No question about it. And again, I mean, Lindsay is so remarkable. She is the type of person that will be victorious in this kind of challenge.
I thank you. Anyone with information regarding Victor Bernard should call the U.S. Marshals Communications Center at 1-800-336-0102. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to CNN analyst and host Sunny Hostin. I really appreciate you, Sunny, for being here. Log on to drphil.com. Share your thoughts on our message boards. You can always find me on Facebook or Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phill, hashtag Facing the Past. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Let me give her some help with this, and you as well, Carmen. Okay? David, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
She's a sugar baby.
I get gifts all the time.
How is that not selling yourself?
Her family doesn't know.
How does my sister get these nice things?
You're a mama's boy. Mom pays all your bills.
Ask her who pays all of hers.
But what happens
Rich men buying me stuff.
Is that what you really want for your life?
when they find out?
This is a new era. People date differently.
I never thought of dating as involving a transaction. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things. Stand by, Dr. Phill. I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction. In 5, 4. I am not giving up on you. Go, Dr. Phill. Here's a question for you. How would you like to have someone give you designer handbags, take you on lavish vacations, take you to Miami, take you on a $5,000 shopping spree? Hey, I'm not Oprah. Just calm down. give you expensive lingerie or buy you luxury perfumes, and all you have to do is show up, look pretty, and have a little dinner and conversation. Well, that's what our first guest says she does for a living. 23-year-old Michelle says she's a sugar baby, a young woman who dates older men called sugar daddies for monetary perks. But Michelle has one huge problem. Her family does not know what she does for a living. They do not know about her lifestyle. They think she moved out to the West Coast to attend a prestigious university here in Southern California, but the only thing she seems to be learning how to get are money and gifts from older, wealthy men. Now, Michelle says she has been estranged from her brother Mike for 7 months, and she wants my help in revealing her secret to him and to her father, Sergio. And she says that she is proud. She's not embarrassed. She says she is proud that she's a sugar baby. Take a look.
I'm 23 years old, and I've been a sugar baby for about 3 years. I'm on the website called Seeking Arrangements. Rich, successful men have always been attracted to young, pretty girls. But I do use the fact that I'm pretty to my advantage. I moved to Southern California to go to school. I became a sugar baby because my financial needs were not being met by working a retail job. And I figured, hey, why not? I have nothing to lose, everything to gain. I made about $30,000 in cash, and I've gotten about $20,000 to $30,000 in gifts. This is some of the stuff I've gotten from my sugar daddies. I've gotten a Louis Vuitton bag. I've gotten a Gucci bag. I've gotten countless amount of perfumes, gift cards, flowers. In exchange for money, I am giving them my time. I have a strict no sex policy. I have kissed them, but we've never had sex. I'm not a prostitute. The oldest person that I went on a date with was over 50. I've never dated anybody on this website in their 20s. The most sugar daddies I've ever had at any one time is 4. I haven't seen my father or my brother Mike in 7 months. They don't know that I'm a sugar baby, and I want to reveal it to them today. Being a sugar baby is the best job in the world. It's like so easy. You go on a date, you eat good food, and then you get paid. You're like a little princess. That's where I find my happiness, and if you don't like it, I think you should mind your own business.
Okay, that last comment sounded like you do seem a little defensive about this.
Correct, because some people see it as something that's wrong. You know, they have a negative stereotype towards it.
But you understand, most people think these are just hookers.
Yeah, most people think that, you know, it's a form of prostitution.
Right.
And I totally don't agree with it. And I think that...
Because you say you don't do that at all.
No, I don't sleep around. I've never slept around with any of them. And if you go to my webpage, it strictly says on there, if you're looking for one night stand, I'm not the one for you. So... well,
let's look at your webpage.
Okay.
This is your webpage.
Correct.
And you say on there, are you looking for a sex partner, then I'm not your person.
Yes.
But then I look to the left, and you seem to have some really provocative pictures up there.
Yes, correct. I do put those pictures up there because those are just pictures I always take. I'm young, you know, and I mean, so I think that men like it. If they like what they see and they like what they read, then they can go forth and go ahead and message me, and then we have a conversation.
But those are kind of conflicting messages, right? This isn't about sex, but woohoo, look here.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, it isn't about sex, but I mean, I just want to show what I look like, you know, so that there's no deceiving pictures on there, you know, just like on any other website. You think you're going on a date with somebody and they only have a picture from the face up or whatever.
And then expectation, it says negotiable. What does that mean?
So, I mean, I don't have a set limit. You know, I have a couple girlfriends on this site, and they do say, and they have like a $10,000 limit. Like, I need a $10,000 allowance per month. And it's negotiable for me because I'm not, I don't have a set limit. I don't, like, $1,000, $2,000. It depends. Some men want to see you 3 times a week. Some men only want to travel with you. Everything is different, so I can't set a limit, $10,000 to, like, it can't have a limit. That's why it's negotiable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, you were working in a retail, and you said it didn't meet your financial needs.
Correct. I worked retail all my life.
Well, maybe your financial needs were too high. I mean, maybe you just need to lower your financial needs.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, if I can be taken care of and there's people willing to spend their money on young girls who are, I don't plan to do this for the rest of my life. It's definitely not something, it's, you know, I'm supposed to be in school.
Well, are you a college student?
I'm a college student, but I'm not attending this semester. But yes, when I joined the site, I was in school, and I was going to school.
You might should be a lawyer because you talk in riddles a lot. Because you say, I'm not interested in sex, but woo, look at these pictures. Then you say, I'm a college student, but I'm not in, like right now.
Semester, yes.
But I'm not interested in sex, but I'm negotiable.
The goal is to finish school, correct? And my major is business administration, and I do aspire to be an entertainment lawyer someday. So yeah, you're on the right path.
Yeah. And you say that you're not a prostitute. You say, I'm not a prostitute. I want to be treated like one. I'm not about one-night stands.
Correct.
But you say if the chemistry's there, then okay.
I know. I'm not. I mean, if the chemistry. So right off the back, it's no sex. I have a no sex policy. So if you think on the first date you're going to take me to a hotel and sleep with me, it's definitely not what's going to happen.
Okay, so that doesn't happen on the first date. But if the chemistry's there.
I mean, if we establish a relationship just like you would on any other dating site, you know.
But you still expect to be paid.
Oh, I get gifts all the time, yeah. So the perk of this website and the pros is just that, you know, there's really no cons. You go on dates with these people, you offer your time, they take you shopping, they buy you gift cards, you eat in nice restaurants, you can go to the Versace mansion, stay there for a week, and you can just experience life while I'm young and able and single.
How is that not selling yourself?
I don't feel like I'm selling myself because I'm not sleeping around with these men.
You don't go for free if they say, okay, here's the negotiation. I won't pay, you just come over and hang with me. No, no, no. So you only go if you're paid. How is that not selling yourself?
I don't go only if I'm paid. So the first date usually goes like we talk online, and then after we message and I see that they're not total creeps, we'll exchange information.
And you know that how?
Well, we go back and forth through messages, and then after that we'll go to email. Then we go to email. Then I'll release my telephone number, and then we'll do a FaceTime and see who you say you are and look what your pictures look like, you know?
Oh, my God. Oh, I'm so glad I had boys. Oh, my God. Okay, so next, Michelle's brother is here, Mike. He does not know about her sugar baby lifestyle. She also admits to being on the outs with him after she sped out of town with a prized possession of his. And you want to tell him what you do.
Correct.
You're going to reveal this to him. You're going to let him know.
I am.
Okay. After the break, we'll be right back.
The most important thing in Michelle's world is money. Michelle's always been the type of person to have nice things. So how does Michelle get all these nice things? I mean, that's the golden question.
And later, she wants to share some things with you that are breaking news. So, Michelle, the floor is yours.
Millions watched as we put bullies
I told you.
and the victims of bullies
When she would hit me, my head hit the locker.
all together in the same house tomorrow.
I want to go! I want to go out!
It's the parents in the hot seat.
Is she having sex with a 47-year-old?
I hope not.
You're her mother.
Drama continues.
Please stop! Please get out!
Which moms are giving in
I want to go home. My daughter's upset.
and which ones
You know this is the one thing I didn't want.
are taking a stand?
I told you I'll be good. Don't do it.
That's tomorrow.
2 years ago, my brother Mike got into a motorcycle accident and he needed a car. I have good credit, so I put the car in my name. So 7 months ago, I was visiting home and I got into a fight with my mom over her not lending me a car. So I took back the car that I had signed for Mike. So I ended up driving Mike's car to LA, and I still drive it today. I use this car to go see my sugar daddies. So Mike is still carless, and he's still livid about the whole situation.
Well, 23-year-old Michelle is a self-professed sugar baby, a young woman who dates and has relationships with older men for gifts, trips, and money, even though her family thinks she's attending a highly esteemed university in Southern California. She is really here to get help breaking the news to her family, who she claims does not know her secrets. Her relationship with her brother Mike is especially fractured, with their last fight resulting in her speeding out of town in his Mustang. Here's what Mike has to say about his little sister.
2 years ago, for a graduation gift, my mom bought me a Mustang, put it under my sister's name so that we could build her credit up. So 7 months ago, my mom and sister get in a fight. Next thing you know, she takes my car back to California. I was definitely angry. That's my car. I earned that car. It was a graduation gift. That's basically... Since then, I haven't talked to my sister, and my sister is probably one of the most hard-headed people you'll ever meet. The most important thing in Michelle's world is money. She's definitely spoiled. I believe my sister would pick money over family. She's done it before. She is very superficial. Michelle's always been the type of person to have nice things. $800 glasses. So how does Michelle get all these nice things? I mean, that's the golden question. I have no idea. It's a real possibility that she could be getting into trouble. I don't put anything past her. She's an immature, spoiled brat, and she needs to grow up.
Immature, spoiled brat. Say hello to your sister. You haven't seen her in
It's
7
been a while.
months.
I haven't talked to you in a while.
So last time
Good to see you, by the way.
You saw her, she was in what you say is your car that you earned and are entitled to, and she hopped in it and left town. So she has your Mustang here in L.A. that she took from Texas and headed back here. Why did she take your car?
It was, from what I heard, I was out of town at the time. She got in a fight with my mom and threw a tantrum, basically, and took off with it. And
no, that's not true.
It's not true.
No, I
How so?
definitely, we got into argument, and I figured I need to run some errands while I'm in town visiting. Why can't I use the car? So then I was like, okay, well, I'll just take what's mine. You know, I signed my name on that dotted line, so it doesn't matter who's making the payments. At the end of the day, it's registered to me. Legally, it's mine.
Put yourself in my position, right?
You
What
had
if
a
it was
suspended
your...
license, Mike.
Do I have it right now? Okay,
it was
well,
parked
that's
at
a valid
home
point.
for a reason.
That's a valid point.
But yeah.
Is my license suspended now?
Well, it's not now.
So what's the excuse? Why can't I have it back?
You can't have it back because now it's mine and I'm using it.
Dr.
And
Phill.
I started taking over payments. I started taking over payments.
You have a sister, correct?
Yes.
All right. I did my research, right?
Yes, I have 3 of them.
All right. I'm sure you work hard for your degrees, right? And what happens if your sister just takes your car and doesn't want to give it back to you? That's something that, and I don't know if you guys know, but I was in a motorcycle accident, you know, so they did that for me, just because parents love you, right? They don't want you to crash and die again, like I was very close to.
No, you're a mama's boy. That's the problem.
Oh, so I'm a mama's boy.
You're a mama's boy. Your mom pays all your bills.
Maybe that's why you're just so mad at me.
So she says your mother pays all
He's
of
a
your
mama's
bills.
boy.
Ask her who pays all of hers.
Well, who pays my...
Let's just get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it. Okay,
Let's get to it. Let's just ask her who pays all of her bills. Ask her that question.
Okay, who pays all your bills?
Some rich, older, successful men who want to spend their money on me.
Is that working? Is that working?
Yeah, it's working.
Explain to him what you do for a job.
So I'm on a website. Rich, successful men buy you things, and all you offer them is your time. And I have a no-sex policy, so I go out with them, go to dinner with them. They buy me stuff, and that's the way I live.
Is that what you really want for your life, though?
No, because this is only temporarily.
Have you ever heard the term sugar daddy?
All the time.
Have you heard the term sugar baby?
From you right now?
Well, your sister is a sugar baby. She goes on this website where affluent men go and sign up, older men, and young girls come on there and they form relationships. They become sugar babies with sugar daddies who pay their bills and buy them stuff and take care of them financially. And she says she doesn't have sex with them, that she's arm candy. They just buy her stuff. And I actually made a list. In the last 3 years, she says she's accumulated $80,000 worth of cash and gifts and purses and trips and shopping sprees and cash and rent and spa days and all of these lavish things that pay her bills. And that's how she lives. That's how she gets by, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do.
So I don't ask.
And your car.
Oh, see, why can't there be a car on top of that so I can get my car back?
I'm working on that, honey. I'm working on that. I'm working on it. As soon as I get a Bentley or Rolls Royce, I'll go and drop you off your Mustang. When I upgrade the car,
And this is not what you want for your sister.
I don't. We love her so much, and that's what we wanted to know. We love you to death. We want what's best for you.
Let's add Michelle's and Mike's father to this. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Sergio is going to join us. Now this daddy's girl is going to explain that she not only has a daddy, but a sugar daddy. In fact, she's had like 30 of them. She's going to reveal that to her father after the break. She wants to share some things with you that are breaking news. So, Michelle, the floor is yours.
My mom drinks every day, all day.
Do you drive impaired with the children in the car? Now, don't put your head down. Stay with me here.
My life right now is working okay.
You're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. That's not working. She's posting that you killed your own baby.
Watch your mouth, okay? Hey, don't talk to me like that. Excuse me?
Plus, like father.
We caught dog crushing and snorting pills in the bathroom.
Like daughter.
My daughter crushed the candy. Who told you how to do that?
Daddy?
I would never teach that to a child.
Is his wife real?
We've never met.
You're sending her $100,000
for a Nigerian love scam.
I know some things about Kelly you don't know. Her parents. They do not exist.
It all happens.
What if this is a changing day in your life? Well, I've been talking to Michelle and her brother Mike, who calls her a spoiled, materialistic brat and a rich people moocher. So he wasn't far off of what actually her chosen career path is at this point. There's a family feud going on. Their father, Sergio, says he's caught in the middle. Here's what he has to say.
Michelle's been a stubborn child from the beginning. Right now, for the last 7 months, there's a fight that's been going on, and I think it's way too long. I'm the only family member communicating with Michelle. It hurts me as a father that she doesn't come home for the holidays. I do feel like I'm caught in the middle of a big family drama. We've got my son on one side that's pissed off about the car, and on the other side, we've got my daughter that believes that the car is hers. It's a hard situation. Over the last 3 years, I've given more money to Michael and very little money to Michelle. So I do give her a lot of credit at age 23 to support herself. I am very proud of her. I have always played the role of peacemaker in the family, and I just want to see it resolved so we can be a family again.
Sergio, it's good to meet you, sir.
Same here, Dr. Phill.
You, as any father, are concerned about the rift that's going on in your family.
Definitely so.
You don't like the fact that these two are kind of going at each other.
Going at each other, yes.
And you're proud of both of them. And
very proud.
But you want them to be connected again.
That is correct.
And you've been to college, right?
Correct.
And kinesiology?
Yes, sir.
And did you continue on after your bachelor's degree?
Got a master's.
So you're going on? And so you're proud of that, the fact that he's continued his education and all?
Very proud, and that's why we want the same thing for Michelle.
Right, and she's out here going to college.
Yes.
And working in retail.
Correct.
And moving her path along. She wants to share some things with you that are, I kind of guess, breaking news. Michelle says she has a secret that she needs to reveal to her father today. So, Michelle, the floor is yours.
I am actually not working at a retail job.
You are or not?
I'm not.
Oh.
And I'm not enrolled in school this semester. But right now, I'm getting by on a website where you can pretty much go on dates with these men, and they'll buy you gifts, and they'll shower you with whatever, either it's financially, gift cards, you know, shopping sprees, purses, perfumes, whatever it is that you like.
Cash.
You go on a date, cash,
Trips,
everything all paid for, just for in exchange for your time.
Well, that's not morally how we tried to bring you up. And it kind of leaves you speechless. To me, it shocks me.
Do you object to this?
Oh, definitely object to that.
What's your objection?
Objection being, once again, morally, and that's not what we tried to instill in the kids.
She says, I'm not a prostitute.
Yeah.
She says, I won't meet you at a hotel and have sex. Yeah. You know, if we have chemistry, then I'm negotiable. But if we have chemistry, like any relationship, but she expects to be paid.
It's not that I expect to be paid. I think it's more like being on that website, you know that you're going to get things, you're going to be showered with gifts. Like it's different. I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. If somebody's willing to spend their hard-earned money that they work for on you, then that's their own deal, you know, like that. They decided they can spend their money on whoever they want, however they like, you know, and if I told them that I don't want to sleep with them and they're okay with it and they want to continue seeing me or going to dinner, all we ever do is really go to dinner, nice fancy dinners. And, I mean, it's not a big deal. This is a new era. This is in 1908. This is 2015. People date differently.
I just have to tell you, I disagree that you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. My wife, Robin, we've been married 38 years, and she always says, character is much easier kept than recovered. And
yeah, Dr. Phill, I was about to say, well, you're a father, and it's very hard, you know, what I'm hearing. My parents always taught me you're going to earn, you're going to go out there and work for whatever that you do.
I don't think. I never thought of dating as involving a transaction. I mean, I never slid up next to a girl and said, hey, I'll give you $20 to go to the dance with me.
Yeah, yeah.
I might spend $20 on them to go to the dance with me, but,
that would be cool.
You know, by taking them to dinner or something, but this is a transaction. I mean, and you say, oh, I would go for free. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, if you're going to pay for dinner like any other man on a regular date would. They pay for dinner, that's
dating.
fine with
You're
me.
going on a site and you're verifying their income and you're working out the transaction before you go, right?
You go on a regular date. I talked to them before and I asked them, like, straight out the bat, are you looking for someone to sleep with on the first date? What are you looking for in a girl? How many times do you want to go out on dates with somebody, like see them?
How do you set your price?
I don't have a price. It's negotiable, like it says on the website.
Why have you made $80,000 instead of $800? Why do you not have a Bentley? Are you working cheap?
No, I'm not working. No, I mean, I do want a Bentley. I have been offered one, but I didn't want to like be in a committed relationship with this guy who like seriously wanted to like settle down. And I was like, I mean, the car and everything sounds great, but I mean, I'm not going to run to the altar. Like some people, you can meet a successful relationship off this site. Who's to say that you can't? That you can't end up dating somebody and being like, you know, really involved with somebody. I know people that have had success stories with somebody on there.
Okay, we got to take a quick break. Dad hasn't seen her profile page or what Michelle is looking for in a sugar daddy, so we'll take a look at that when we come back.
What girl doesn't want to be taken care of?
Why do you need somebody to take care of you? Why don't you take care of yourself?
My brother Mike is a big mama's boy. He has been since day one. The difference between both of us is he depends financially on my parents at 26 years old, and I don't. In 3 years, I haven't asked them for a penny. So somebody tells me they don't agree with my decision to be on the Sugar Baby website. All I gotta say is, you know, it's my life, and I make my own choices. I am independent and proud.
Now, in the U.S., over 1 million college students are sugar babies. They've signed up and are doing this and getting money for spending time with people. Let me ask you this. If you were to meet a guy, let's just say you're out jogging at the track or something, and you meet a guy and you really like him, and y'all start dating, and chemistry clicks, and you like each other. Are you going to have any anxiety at all if he says, so tell me about yourself? What have you been doing? And you said, well, actually, I've been dating older men for money for the last 3 years. Are you thinking that would that cause you any anxiety to reveal that to the love of your life?
No.
No, okay.
I think that honesty is important, and I'm not embarrassed to tell people that I'm on the site. I'm not embarrassed.
Okay.
At all.
So you think guys would say, oh, no problem?
Yeah, because, well, do you want to take me off the site? You can go ahead and make that happen, and that'll be okay. I'll gladly sign off. You know, if you're going to, you know, what girl doesn't want to be taken care of? I'm young, I'm single, like, travel, have fun. Like, you have nothing, like, what am I losing here?
Okay, here's her profile page. Let's take a look at her profile page. Dad, just so you know, you can see in the top of the second paragraph, she points out, if you're looking for a sex partner, just get off my page. That's not me. I'm not a prostitute. Don't want to be treated like one. I'm not a one-night stand, but, you know, if we have chemistry, I'm negotiable. Then she does have some pretty provocative pictures up on the side there.
People are attracted to people that have their own life, have their own goals, have their own agenda.
But I still have goals.
I know, but
I still have goals. This is temporarily. I don't plan to do this when I'm 60 years old. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to be on this side forever. It's like, I'm not going to be 100 years old on this side still mooching off men.
You said, what girl doesn't want to be taken care of? If you met a guy, and you said you'd get off the side if he wanted to take care of you. You refer to this as mooching off men. Why do you need somebody to take care of you? Why don't you take care of yourself? I mean, that's a mindset that I think belittles you. And if you think when you go to apply to a law school or to apply for a job, you're right, it is 2015. They will do a search on you, and they will see all of this, and they may go, she may seem entitled. She may not be the best candidate for employment because she seems to be someone that's entitled and wants to be given things. I'm just saying that may not look great on your history. You just might want to consider that. Moving forward, what do I know? I'm from the last generation, as are you.
Yes.
So I think you guys should discuss this, but you wanted it out there. It's out there. Maybe you'll get your Mustang back. Maybe you won't.
If I don't, it's all your fault.
Yeah, all right. Now, all right, I want you guys to listen to this next story. The last time they were here, former guest Ashley dropped a bomb on her fiancé, Caesar, when she revealed she was a sugar baby during the course of their engagement. Oh, did Caesar stay or leave? The shocking update when we come back.
I was a sugar baby for 5 years.
You have a fiancé.
I do.
He doesn't know. She says that she stopped going on these dates. Are you able to let that go?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, their daughters are young and troubled.
Where are you when she's running the streets?
I always have 1,000 things to do.
You're her mother.
I want to go!
That's tomorrow.
A few months ago, engaged couple Ashley and Caesar sat right here on this stage as Ashley dropped the bomb that she had been a sugar baby throughout their relationship. Take a look.
I I was a sugar baby for 5 years. At any time, I could have 5 to 10 different sugar daddies. My favorite gift was a Bentley. I've gotten Louis Vuitton gifts, lavish vacations.
You have a fiance.
I do.
He doesn't know. The truth is, she meets men over a website. She says that she stopped going on these dates. Are you able to let that go? What is the absolute drop-dead truth? Are you still going to the website?
Yes.
You're not comfortable with her being involved in it?
Of course not.
She's either going to have to stop this completely or you're out of here.
Can you let me know now or I'm walking out?
Are you willing to give all this up for him?
You have to understand when you grow accustomed to a certain lifestyle, you know, it's hard to give up. It's almost an addiction.
Let us know what happens, okay? Well, here's a surprising update.
Since we were last on the show, things have been pretty rocky in the beginning. I had to lay everything out on the table and be completely truthful with Caesar.
When Ashley told me she was a sugar baby, I was very angry. Ultimately, I decided that I love Ashley, I want to be with her, and I accepted for who she was, and I forgave her.
The other big news that's happened since the show is that Caesar and I got married, and we're expecting our first child together. As of right now, I'm still on the site, but I never go on dates with anybody. I'm still receiving money in my bank account from men. I don't know who it's from. Caesar and I both enjoy looking at the website to see what kind of offers I get or how much money somebody's willing to send just to spend time with me. I miss the sugar baby lifestyle. I miss the excitement of it, but at the same time, it's like you can't live that life forever.
Okay, it's good to see you guys again.
See you too.
So you're still together.
We're married now.
Married now.
And you're married.
Yes.
And expecting.
Okay.
So thank you.
And you're expecting.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have no idea who deposited, just like last time. It still happens. They know I'm pregnant. They know I'm married. I still receive text messages. I say I'm married and pregnant. And they still send me money.
Okay.
So it all works out in the end.
Okay. Listen,
We will fall in love.
you know, Caesar, when you were here, you said, look, I'm just some farm boy from Mexico, and you said, I'm not much on computers. I'm just so country boy.
Yeah.
And the idea that there are men on this website that are they're just going on there and they say, okay, I know I can't see her again. I know she's married. I know she's pregnant. I know there's no future. I think I'll just drop $5,000 on her.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a lot of friends, and I got a lot of friends with a lot of money. And I don't know any of them that are sending $5,000 to some girl that they know they're not ever going to see again.
They don't have that much money. Ops.
Well, maybe not. I guess, because
No.
I've always kind of figured people with a lot of money didn't get it by being stupid.
Well, no, but that's why I don't have a lot of it.
But they're giving
Sharing
you...
is caring. That's all I have to say. And if they're going to share it with me, then that's fine.
Okay, they're giving you money just for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they either
I'm getting me a wig. People want to give... Okay, we got to take a break. Caesar says he and Ashley now go on the website together as she chats with men who send her money. So does that make Caesar like a co-sugar baby conspirator and a money-hungry husband? I don't know. We'll be right back.
Ashley revealed the truth about what a sugar baby was, showed me the website. Now we both go to the website, look at her profile, and see what messages comes on. I understand it now. If I was in her shoes, I would do the same thing too.
Oh, well, I'm talking with Ashley and Caesar, who were here a few months ago when Ashley revealed to Caesar that she was a sugar baby and had taken over $500,000 from wealthy men during the course of their relationship. Now, y'all have been together how long?
On and off for 3 years.
And during that 3 years, you took $500,000.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ran with it. She's just starting. Hey, you want my number?
Please, no. At first, Caesar was
She's
shocked.
gonna understand.
Viewers thought he would leave Ashley after the show. They thought he's out of there, but no, he stayed. Not only did he stay, they got married, and she is now 6 weeks pregnant. Now, Ashley is still trolling the Sugar Baby website, but now Caesar is by her side, and they're taking the money straight to the bank. So you have like an account, right? And they just deposit this in there. And so here's what you're doing with the money. You put like $10,000 in savings.
Not all of it.
You're remodeling the house for $15,000. The baby's nursery, $5,000. College fund, $25,000. So $55,000 of it you've spent this way.
I wish remodeling cost $15,000. I'll take that. But
Well,
no,
that's how much
way
you
more.
spent so far, right? Or is that is it more than
Well,
that?
I work on it too, so.
Yeah, you work on it too. So it's more than that.
Yeah, way more than that. But
Way more. How much more?
like around 75, 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got these numbers from you, but they were a few days ago. So.
Yeah. Hey, and I got to check right now. I mean, it's been an hour since I've been here. So I'm just kidding.
Does it bother you that other men are giving money to your now wife?
Well, the thing is, it's...
Because I got to tell you,
Obviously not.
It would bother me if other men were giving my wife money.
Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned, but that would just be an intrusion to the intimacy barrier. I don't want other men giving my wife money.
Obviously, we don't have an intimacy barrier, so we're good.
No, the way
No, you don't, but I'm just asking
the way
him.
I see it is
No,
just
I'm pregnant.
it's stepping out of your comfort zone. It's you know, we're in the new times, and it's kind of something that the old ways, it wasn't that way that we should do it, but now things change so much, and to me, the way I see it, if someone's willing to give us money and we just laugh about it, it's like...
Wow, my fans are going nuts on Twitter over my two Sugar Baby guests and their families. At Janet Fuller says, it's called greed. You don't get something for nothing and then laugh about it. Hashtag time to be honest. Yeah, people have a lot to say. I want to thank all of my guests today. On a personal note, I want to take a minute to thank everybody for making my new book, The 2020 Diet, Turn Your Weight Loss Vision into Reality, what has now become the absolute runaway #1 book in the country. So thank everybody at home. You know, I wrote this book. It's the first time I've written about weight.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phill. They can be ruthless.
You've never met this woman, and she's posting that you killed your own baby.
Hateful.
Why are you smiling?
It was more of a smirk than a smile.
Why are you smirking?
Vicious.
She said that I was a stripper.
She says she's never been a stripper.
Yeah, that's why. Are you serious? We almost got fired from our jobs because of what you posted.
Pretty little mean girls.
Watch your mouth, okay? Hey, don't talk to me like that. Excuse me?
You harassed me for a year.
Because you told me my son deserves a job.
What are y'all, 5 years old? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Thank you very much. Callista says she has been virtually assaulted for almost 2 years by one mean girl and is at her breaking point. Take a look.
Dr. Phill, I have written in because there's a girl in our town named Taylor who has bullied me and friends of mine. Taylor says derogatory things towards people, attacks them personally, and makes threats.
Well, shortly after we contacted Callista, more of Taylor's alleged victims came out of the woodwork. Here's what another girl, Shelby, had to say about Taylor's threatening, stalking, and bullying.
Taylor has definitely made me a target for her bullying. Taylor has gone as far as to posting online for everybody to see that I killed my own child, which is not true at all.
But that's not all. Shayna says she's also done with Taylor's bull. Now it's war, and she is taking her down.
Taylor will say anything and everything to hurt somebody's feelings. She even said that my son deserved to die. Who does that?
By now, you're probably wondering what Taylor has to say about her alleged mean girl ways. Needless to say, she has a very different take on this whole situation.
Everyone says that I'm the bully, but they started it. They have been calling me names, threatening my family, and talking bad about my child, so I have had no choice but to defend myself.
So, you've heard sides after side, so who's the biggest bully of them all? I don't know, but by the end of the show, I hope we can put an end to all of this, because this can get serious. Moms, if you're listening, kids, if you're listening, pay attention, because this is a big deal. It's a big enough deal that I was asked to come to Congress to talk about cyberbullying and the impact it's having on our kids in America. So in this story, let's hear more from Callista, who says Taylor was a bully in elementary school and has only gotten meaner with age.
Taylor is a bully in every sense of the word, and it's very cruel and very pathetic. Taylor has bullied me about my appearance. She has bad-mouthed me about being a mother and has called me names.
I would have never said something like that unless she attacked me first.
Taylor started bullying me about 1.5 years ago. Taylor took a photo of mine, manipulated it, and made it derogatory. The comment was very hurtful. Taylor said that I was a meth head, that I was a stripper, and I had sex with old men for money. It was very upsetting. I mean, I've never done that before in my life. And you know what I did back to her? I tried to kill her with kindness, and it didn't even work. So I deleted my Facebook.
I may have said that Callista was using meth because of the fact that she was a stripper, and just feel like strippers are probably just all on drugs. Sorry if this offends anybody, but I don't like strippers.
Taylor has not just attacked me, she's also attacked multiple friends of mine when they've been at their lowest point. Taylor even bullied a friend of mine who has been dealing with emotional issues, saying that if her razor blade's ever dull, that she has more for her. It's getting so serious that somebody could take their own lives or try and take hers.
Well, here's more from Shelby.
Taylor is definitely riding the Hot Mess Express. She makes herself look stupid by all the things she says to people she doesn't even know. The first time Taylor attacked me was back in June. She made a Facebook status that said, I guess the new trend is being trashy, but I'm gonna keep it classy, just a little bit nasty. I said back was, how can you put trashy and nasty in the same sentence and expect it to sound classy right away? She messaged me and said, you got a problem, bitch?
Because Shelby has bullied me, I have bullied Shelby back. Sometimes I have said some harsh things to her.
The absolute worst thing Taylor has ever said to me on social media is that I took a pill to kill my baby, which is not true at all. She passed away when I was 35 weeks along due to preeclampsia. I just think it's absolutely absurd that she'd put down somebody when she's a mother herself.
I had to attack because I was being attacked.
It's just crazy. I'm 22 years old. I don't need the high school drama. We are mothers. We do not need to be talking like that at all.
Okay, let me start with you. Why do you think this girl is coming after you if, in fact, what you're saying is true?
She started coming after me whenever she had started something with another friend of mine on the internet. And I went to defend her and was just like, why are you doing this? Like, leave her alone. She did nothing to you. So as soon as that happened, she decided to make a status and with a photo of me said that I was a meth head, that I was a stripper, and that I was having sex with men for money.
Have you struggled with meth?
No, I have never used drugs in my life.
Have you been a stripper?
No.
Are you a stripper?
No.
You've never been a stripper?
Never.
You want to be a stripper?
No.
Okay, so stripping is not in your past, not in your present, and not in your future?
No.
So those are just outright factual lies?
Yep.
And you say she photoshopped a picture?
Mm-hmm.
She put your head on some other body?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that body was...
It was derogatory.
So people would believe this is you.
Yep.
And said all this stuff about you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you responded to that.
Yes, I did.
What did you say?
I said, I started out with, I'm sorry if anything I said offended you. However, I don't see why you're doing this, and I went on and on and on. And then she replied back and said, I don't have time to read all that. And then just started attacking again onto the comments.
Okay. And she is attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
What has she said about you?
That I killed my baby.
You had a baby that was stillborn.
Stillborn, yeah.
You've never met this woman.
I've never met her, not once.
And she's posting that you killed your own baby during labor.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think sparked this?
I don't know. I mean, she had just made a status one day that I didn't agree with, and as soon as I commented on it and I just stated my opinion, she automatically messaged me and was, being very, very awful, awful to me.
And did you two know each other?
No.
Mm-mm. There's a whole group of girls that get bullied by Taylor, and we've all became very close because we're victims.
Okay, well, Taylor admits that she said nasty things on the internet, but she says she's not going to sit on the sidelines if she's being attacked on Facebook.
People are starting drama with me every day. They have been stealing my pictures and saying I'm a bad mom.
Taylor is constantly trying to play victim, but once somebody says, you're the one who bullies people, then she'll start bullying them.
I am not going to sit here and let people attack me like that and not fight fire with fire. It has made me into a bully. All of this bullying started when I posted my modeling pictures to Facebook. The moment my pictures went up, people started calling me fat, that I was ugly, and saying how my husband shouldn't allow me to take photos like that. These attacks on me have been nonstop, and they have spilled over to real life. Just last week, the Department of Family Services showed up at my house. Somebody gave false information saying that me and my husband were using meth and neglecting our child. I do not even use meth. It's just disgusting that somebody would take it that far. I would just like people to leave me alone so I can live my own life.
That's what she has to say. You heard that. Now, you've never met her.
I've never met her.
You ready to meet her now?
Yeah.
Well, because she's here. Taylor, come on out. Taylor, Dr. Phill.
Hi, Dr. Phill. I'm Taylor.
How are you? Have a seat right here. You've been listening to the show so far?
Yes, sir.
This is Shelby, by the way.
Yes. Hi, Shelby.
You've not met her before.
No, sir.
But you've had a lot to say about her.
Yes, sir.
Tell me why.
Being bullied and saying comments on my status gets to me because I feel like if you just don't like what I post, that maybe you could just unfriend me or block me and just leave it at that.
So you're the victim here. Here's an idea. I think I'll message that she murdered that baby.
Why would you say that?
Wow. Just wow.
And later...
Watch your mouth, okay? That's totally wrong.
Hey,
okay?
Don't talk to me like that.
Excuse me? We almost got fired from our jobs because of what you posted.
And I've had the Oh, no.
Yes, you can.
No.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill.
I was missing for 7 days.
She lived in the woods because you say she wanted you to think she was dead.
Their sister's bizarre behavior
We can't sleep at night. We can't function.
is tearing the family apart.
Mom thinks that you have cancer. I lied for attention.
Why would you do that?
How's your life working for you?
My life is working okay.
You're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. That's not working.
All new Dr. Phill. Tomorrow.
Did you say that she took a morning after pill and killed her baby?
Yes, I did. And I am very sorry for that, Shelby.
Take me through the moment where you're sitting at home, I guess, and you're at your keyboard, and you learn that a young mother has just had a stillborn birth, and you say, Here's an idea. I think I'll message that she murdered that baby. I'll add that to the grief process that she's going through. What went through your mind that made that seem like a good idea?
I was just hurt, Dr. Phill. I just wanted to hurt people back, and honestly, that is one of the main things that I do regret saying, because I myself had a miscarriage. I didn't carry my child as long as she
say that. If you had a miscarriage, why would you say that?
Because I was hurt, Calista.
Heard that she commented on your post?
No, not just that she commented on my post, that she made statuses herself, which we have those screenshots.
What was it she said that pulled the trigger that said, okay, I'm going to tell everybody you murdered your baby?
I guess it was just the fact that she has so many friends on Facebook and posting stuff on it and letting people see, and it just really hurt me that everybody was thinking the way that I'm not.
That's not when it started whatsoever.
What was it?
Taylor had added me on Facebook back in June, and she had made a status that said, quote, I guess the new trend is being trashy, but I'm going to keep it classy, just a little bit nasty. And all I did was comment on that, and I said, how can you put trashy and nasty in the same sentence and expect it to sound classy? I said no hateful words to her, and immediately after that, she messaged me and called me a name right away.
I feel like that is true.
It is.
And
true. It's true.
Well, we have the sequence. I know the truth. I'm just trying to find out what it was that resonated with you, that you just said, okay, all right, I heard that, bitch. I'm going to call you a murderer.
Well, it wasn't quite like that. It was she was egging me on for a while. I was hurt. I said something I did not mean.
Well, but there were a lot of things that went back between the two of you.
Right.
We have another exchange. Shelby says, oh my God, are you still trying to talk blank? Bitch, bye. Taylor, you all three hoes look like the Hamburglar.
I don't know.
Shelby, LOL, bye. Taylor, you're the one still talking like, oh my God, she stole my cover photo. Laugh out loud. Wah. Shelby, do you even own any Chanel? Do you even know what that is? Taylor, you act like you come with some sort of special sauce or something. Taylor, who the bleep doesn't know what Chanel is? Laugh out loud. You're dumb. Taylor, and by the way, 4 bleep kids? How old are you? You're probably no more than 21. That is seriously sad, bleep. I see how you hate your life so much now, since you apparently don't have one, and you probably got a bleep nasty ass look to your body, and that's for sure why you hate on me and all the other girls who you've picked on. You're nothing more than a bully, and I hope your kids learn from your mistakes, you twisted ass bleep. I'm a bully, yet I haven't said one thing about your appearance or anything. My life is fabulous, obviously. So stop being bitter just because you broke and you got called out. Laugh out loud. Bye. Taylor, hey, Shelby, so I totally saw you in Walmart today in your skinny jeans, which made you look huge. And I followed you home. Hope you now know that next time you should not bleep with the crazy. See you soon. What are y'all?
I know.
Y'all 5 years old? What?
That's what I felt like seeing this right now. I feel like, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet one of Taylor's victims who says it's become her mission to take Taylor down and give her a dose of her own medicine. We'll talk all about that and more about what the attack has been on Calista when we come back.
To get back at Taylor
I've made it my own personal mission to give Taylor a dose of her own medicine. I created a page called the official I Hate Taylor Horseface page.
Taylor has gone as far as stealing my pictures and putting it on Craigslist personals. I woke up to a billion inappropriate text messages from guys in my area asking for sex. I was so stunned. I would never do something like that, ever.
Well, death threats, name calling, is there anything off limits with this group? There's someone else I'd like to add to the discussion. Her name is Shayna, and she says she's proud to victimize and bully Taylor online because Taylor bullied Shayna's best friend on Facebook.
The drama between Taylor and I started 3 years ago when she attacked one of my really good friends on social media. I asked her to stop, and then that's when I got personally attacked. She said, "Your son deserves to die so that he doesn't have to grow up with a white trash mom like you." It was awful. I was going through severe postpartum depression and had thoughts of killing my own child. It was more than I could handle at the time. To get back at Taylor, I've made it my own personal mission to give Taylor a dose of her own medicine.
Shayna has called me every name in the book. She has called me fat, ugly, a troll.
I created a page called the official I Hate Taylor Horseface page.
It is extremely insane.
The page got shut down on Facebook.
To bully me more, Shayna changed her own Facebook page into a fake Facebook page.
I took one of her inappropriate pictures and I made it my profile picture, and I changed my name to Taylor K. Horseface.
Shayna would post pictures of me and statuses on this Facebook page to mock me.
I would rewrite the statuses, keeping it classy, never trashy, just a little bit nasty. You're just so jealous of me because I'm so perfect. Everyone wants to be like me.
She's just taking it way over the top. I do not know what she's trying to accomplish.
I wanted to victimize her the way she victimized other people. She needs to understand that what she does is wrong.
I just think that Shayna's trying to get more people to hate me.
Okay, Shayna, so you've decided the best defense is an offense.
Yes.
And you've gone on the attack.
Yeah.
What's your objective? What's the end game?
So that she would leave people that I care about alone. So that she would understand that how she talks to people and the way she does it is wrong and uncalled for.
You've called her a dirty street rat, a troll, every name in the book in private messages. You posted on her wall that she deserved to die after she was in a bad car accident. Really? And you posted, "I hope your baby doesn't make it alive." Why?
Because those are the exact words that she has used towards everyone else. I didn't make up anything. Those are her words.
You say you posted, "I hope your baby doesn't make it alive."
Yep. I've seen
when
that
Taylor
at
was
least 5
pregnant,
times.
and you said, quote, "ugliest baby in the world." Did you steal your husband's sperm so your child wouldn't be a troll like you? How did you feel about all that?
It made me very upset.
But yet you've done the same thing.
Exactly. And that's why I probably did the same thing.
No, you did it before she did it.
No, sir.
Yes.
No, you
Yes.
did.
Yes, you did.
I have a timeline of it all.
I may have. I can't remember directly.
Well, I do, because we created a timeline based on
then
your...
yes, I will, yes. Then if...
Based on your server. But you think that's a good strategy?
It was something that no one else did. Everyone else kind of just ignored her. And I'm like, what does ignoring do? It just makes her continue.
Are you at all concerned about how that reflects on you?
I mean, yes and no. Then no. Now, yes.
And you created a fake Facebook page, right?
Yes.
The I Hate Taylor Horseface page to victimize Taylor, and it was shut down in days. Shut down how?
Facebook deactivated my account for harassment and pretending to be someone else.
You posted, "keeping it classy, never trashy, just a little bit nasty." Is that clever because the words rhyme or something?
I don't know. Those are her words.
I thought it was just a funny joke. I wasn't being serious.
Well, you make it serious whenever you victimize other people.
I was a victim at that time.
You're not a victim of anything. Let's make that clear.
And neither are you.
I didn't say I was.
Good.
Watch your mouth.
You harassed me for a year.
Because
Last year,
you told
September
me my son deserved
2013,
to die.
3 or 5
It
years
doesn't
ago.
matter if it's 10 years ago. You
5
don't
years
say
ago.
that. Just like you don't say it to me.
Let's talk about Callista a little bit more here. She, when she said that you were a terrible mother, a meth head, a hooker, but only for old men.
I was a stripper, not a hooker.
I'm sorry?
I was a stripper.
A stripper. Well,
yeah.
sex with old men for money.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a hooker. And that she had even driven you to your stripper job.
Yeah.
That was to validate that it was true?
Yes.
And it's not true, right?
It's not true. I don't know if Callista has ever used meth or not.
Because she says she's never been a stripper.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I am being dead serious.
Really?
Really.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's interesting
Wow.
because all of these things that she's saying, they actually caused your husband, who's in the military,
Yep.
to have to start getting bi-monthly drug tests because this was read by his
Yep.
commanding officer or someone upstream.
Yep. And DFS came into it. Everything.
Yeah, Department of Family Services got involved, military got involved.
Yep.
They started investigations into his career and all because of the post that you
I had no
put.
idea.
Yeah. And that's palpable monetary damage for things that you just admitted were lies.
I shouldn't have thrown it in her face that she was a stripper because you gotta do what you gotta do.
Not that Watch your mouth, okay? That's totally wrong.
Hey,
okay?
Don't talk to me like that.
Excuse me?
Respect.
Do you see what you did to
Respect.
me? We almost got fired from our jobs because of what
And
you
I've
posted.
had DFS come to my house, Callista, just last week, and I don't even know who did it.
Right. Oh my God.
Everything was great.
You can have a clean house and still sell drugs.
Oh, no.
Yes, you can.
No.
You decided that you needed to post stuff that I'm a meth smoker on Facebook.
Look, I was hurt.
From
and I was
what?
saying things that didn't
From
mean-
what you
From
called?
being bullied,
From yourself.
Shayna.
Because you
From being
started it.
bullied.
Who
No, I didn't. You harassed me for a year.
Because
Last
you
year,
told me
September
my son deserved to
2013,
die.
3 or 5 years
It doesn't
ago.
matter if it was 10 years ago.
5 years ago. You don't say it to me either. You don't tell my mom that she didn't have an abortion either.
All right. I kind of made a list of some of the things that I think you've said that I find particularly interesting that I would like for you to take a look at. You posted that Callista is a terrible mother, smoked meth, and is a stripper. Okay? Just so you know, I'll guarantee you that is actionable as slander. If you say it, you're dealing with slander and libel here. You threatened to beat Callista's ass at work. I can promise you that can be seen and is seen as a terroristic threat. You posted Callista is a transgender and you made fun of a lesbian girl. You messaged an Afro-American girl the N-word. And I'll guarantee you these two things would be of particular interest to a hate crime division. Derogatory terms for gay people. You message lesbian and gays should kill themselves. You tagged 5 guys in a picture of a girl. Fellas, this slut needs some love. And you posted the phone number and the full name, and the girl got fired. And when you do that, you could very well incite violence, threaten to shoot fellow students, terroristic threat. You know, you may think you're sitting on your couch throwing a tantrum, but you've created a record that doesn't go away.
Right.
And you may think you're some kind of vigilante justice on the internet. You're no better than she is doing what she's doing. Do you get that?
I admit it. I mean, I am no better than her.
We're going to hear from someone who says Taylor posted appalling comments about her during one of the darkest times in her life. Is nothing sacred? Did Taylor cross the ultimate line? We'll be right back.
I love that girl to death. She's only 16.
How would you feel if you saw online, R.I.P. this girl, and you had something to do with that?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill.
How's your life working for you?
My life is okay.
You're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. You paid the guy to overdose you with heroin. You don't even hire good assassins.
That's tomorrow.
I'm here with Callista, Shelby, and Shayna, who say they want someone to finally put a stop to all of Taylor's tyrannical Facebook bullying. When we started putting this show together, we received a heart-wrenching video from a young teenager. I'm going to play some audio, and then I'm going to show you some things. Here's what she had to say.
I have been harassed by an old schoolmate named Taylor. She has claimed that I have daddy issues, that I'm an emo gothic bitch, and that if my razor blades ever get dull, that she has plenty.
But here's the exchange. Taylor, I mean, come on. The whole suicidal girl, scene girl, bleep has got to eventually come to a stop. Bitch, you are so 5 years ago, LOL. Please learn from your mistakes and quit making such an ass out of yourself. Then she responds, a suicide girl? Are you an idiot? What you say is such a disgrace. I hope your family is proud because you will be no better than I am. Take your classless ass somewhere else. Taylor, you brought this upon yourself, you blanking wrist slitter. To which she responds, does that make you feel better about yourself? Taylor, yes it does, because you deserve being talked to like blank. To which she responds, oh, do I now? You're only pissed off because I am right. Taylor, you are a stupid-ass, blank, bro deuces bitch. I have extra razor blades if yours ever get too dull. To which the child responds, I will pray for you. This is a young lady that attempted suicide once last year and 3 times this year.
I had no idea that she was suicidal, and now that I know that, I would like to apologize if she would like to hear me out.
How do you know she wasn't suicidal if you offered her razor blades? You obviously know she either cut it or something.
I was just saying that because of the whole scene girl look. I was just saying that.
But you had a miscarriage, right?
Yes.
You did? How did that feel to lose your child?
It felt...
How would you feel?
Look at me. How does it look like I feel?
Because of something you said. And her mom had to go through what we've had to go through.
Understandable.
How would you feel if you saw online, R.I.P. this girl, and you had something to do with that? How can you do that to everybody's lives all the time, constantly, every day?
But what about you, Shelby?
What about me?
Every day there's new drama with you.
Taylor, the only time I've ever done anything is to make you look like a fool when you've said something awful to me.
We both said hurtful things.
I love that girl to death, and to know that you would say something like that to her, knowing that she would do it. If you really got to her head, she would really do something like that.
See, I didn't know.
And she's so young. She's only 16.
I don't even know if I knew she was 16 years old.
You are an adult. We need to stop and think. That's the whole point about keyboard bullies. The whole problem with this younger generation is you have the knowledge to use the internet, but you don't have the wisdom. You don't know who you're talking to out there. That's why we have to take responsibility for what we do. Taylor's mother's here, and we're going to find out what she thinks about all of this. One of these girls went head-to-head with Taylor's mom on Facebook. All that when we come back.
I think bullying anybody on Facebook is absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea why these girls are choosing that. Seeing all this bullying and attacks against Taylor on Facebook, it's been heartbreaking. I think bullying anybody on Facebook is absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea why these girls are choosing that. That's supposed to be adults instead of children. I cannot believe half of the stuff that's been said. Seeing all this bullying and attacks against Taylor on Facebook and really horrible negative comments, it's been heartbreaking. No parent wants to see their child being bullied. I do worry for Taylor's safety as things are escalating. I'm trying to get Taylor to understand that she needs to walk away. She has a wonderful husband, a beautiful baby boy, and that's what she needs to focus on, not what's on Facebook.
Mom, I'm glad you're here. What do you think about what's transpired so far here today?
It's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. It shouldn't be going on from anybody. All girls are just completely wrong.
And you two have interacted on the internet.
Shayna did send me a message telling me I needed to get Taylor under control. She's been, I don't remember the exact message word to word.
Well, I do.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up.
Shayna said, you seriously need to control your daughter before her child is taken away from her. I don't know if she has a serious mental problem or you were just a bad mother. Stephanie, exactly who do you think you are messaging? Me and calling me a bad mom? LOL, Taylor is an awesome mom, Shayna. She wished death upon my child when all I did was ask her to leave my friend alone. Now she is harassing half of the town. If you don't control her, the state prison will. I'm done with this little kid, blank. Shayna, you should have aborted that troll you call a daughter.
Real nice thing to say when you're a mom.
Why are you smiling right now?
It was more of a smirk than a smile.
Why are you smirking?
Because it was wrong for me to say. And I admitted that. I said I felt bad for saying that. The beginning of it was not to be mean at all. Because it was whenever I had people crying, friends of mine crying over what she said. I was like, please control your daughter.
You're just as bad as Taylor.
I am just as bad as Taylor.
You both are nasty, horrible. And it's got to stop between the both of you.
That is why I'm here.
I've been doing this a long time. There's one thing I know for sure. The more you know with clarity who you are, the less vulnerable you are to what other people say and think about you.
Yes,
and the
sir.
most important relationship you're ever going to have in your life is the one you have with yourself. Well, we're about to meet a mother who has a lot to say to this group. When her 12-year-old daughter ended her life last year, it made headline news.
12-year-old Rebecca Sedgwick climbed one of these abandoned cement towers and jumped to her death. Investigators and her family say bullying pushed her over the edge.
Hi, this is my random video.
Rebecca's mother says the bullying began late last year. According to deputies, girls bullied Rebecca at school and continued online.
I saw drink bleach and die. Go kill yourself, go jump off a building. My sister said, I think they found something, and I just instantly dropped to my knees and I knew. You call it the motherly instinct. I was praying that she wasn't gone.
Becca was absolutely terrorized on social media.
Becca had to change classes 3 times. I called the school several times. They told her, you need to suck it up, just go to class.
Trisha's goal for bullies to suffer tougher consequences.
I immediately went on this crusade to stop bullying, to save other kids.
Trisha, I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine. You believe that cyberbullying contributed to your daughter's taking of her own life without question, right?
Right. It was just so relentless and never-ending. They just wouldn't leave her alone.
What do you think when you hear all of this going back and forth here?
It breaks my heart because I hear how you guys talk to each other, and it's just, it's awful.
Matt Morgan is your attorney. Matt, people that do this with the technology of tracking these people down can be criminally and civilly held accountable, right?
Absolutely. There's an electronic record of everything.
We all need to think about what we write down when we get behind that keyboard, because there's a human being on the other end.
Next Tuesday on an all-new Dr. Phill. Like father.
We caught dog crushing and snorting pills in the bathroom.
Like daughter.
My daughter crushed the candy.
Who told you how to do that?
Daddy?
I would never teach that to a child.
That's next Tuesday on an all-new Dr. Phill.
You know, last night, Robin and I were talking about both of the stories on today's show and how tragic it is that these young, beautiful women feel like it's okay to say the nastiest, cruelest things to one another online. That needs to stop. Hiding behind your keyboard and typing out insults is no way to live. You know, when you stop and think about it, it's just as easy to write nice things as it is to be mean. In fact, this is a time of year that we are given the chance to tell our friends, family, and significant others how much they mean to us. In fact, isn't there something coming up that I'm supposed to remember?
In like 4 days, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, okay, all right.
That you've already planned on something really nice for me, is that right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've been just wringing my hands, working on your gift, yeah.
I don't know about you ladies in the audience, but I'm kind of not believing him. But I want you to know that because it's such an important day, I've already been planning a really special gift for you.
Of course you have.
Yes. In fact, here's the beginning of it. Take a look. This is just for you. I've been busy doing a photo shoot for you.
Oh,
this is a gift that lasts forever. I mean, I know you may not really think it's perfect, but look at those shoes. How cute are those shoes? Okay, now, look closely. What does it say on my hands?
Yeah, it says RM plus PM.
And I did that in lipstick.
If I do a photo shoot and write that on the top of my head, would that work?
I would think that was adorable.
Then you wouldn't have to look closely. You could see it from outer space if I write it on the top of my head.
That's okay. I love you. I do. It is the day of love, and Valentines are so special. In fact, I do remember another Valentine I got just a few years ago. Oh, look. That's our granddaughter, Avery, and she brought me that Valentine. And it was so precious because she worked for an hour, 2 hours on that Valentine. Couldn't wait to bring it to Grandma. And then, you can tell, she didn't want to hand it over. I really, truly sat there for 20 minutes waiting for her to hand that precious Valentine over. I have to admit that it's one of my favorite holidays because I love being able to show people how much they mean to me. Well, today, I want everyone in the audience to know how much you mean to both of us. So, everyone here today in the audience, you're all going home with my Georgia fragrance and collection, which includes the shower gel, the body butter, and the hand cream. Happy Valentine's Day.
And if you have a special someone or a loved one and you want to purchase the Georgia Fragrance or collection of bath products, go to RobinMcGrawRevelation.com.
And please remember to let everyone in your life know how much you love and appreciate them this Valentine's Day.
I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time. So long.